Winners Take Y'all 2.0 here. We got
2.0.
Welcome, Jake Fricker out here, man. Thanks for coming again. Jake is making this thing look way better than it has been. So watch the progress, man. And if you're watching the shows, we do encourage you to go visit our YouTube channel, which we're going to start actively pushing now that we have a product that we think is going to be worthy of actually watching. If you want, I mean, I don't want to watch me, but if you like just the audio, then by all means, continue on with that. That's on Spotify. Kyle Kelly's in the house. Nick Blackmon's wearing a jersey, thanks to our buddy Alan Utz from SEVMX.
SEVMX.
How about this?
Solution Machine Works.
R&D shirt. We all know R&D, right?
Yeah, R&D. Rudy and Dean Dickinson, the baddest Suzuki's
100%.
mini bikes.
They're the DMCs,
of
the Pro
the 80s.
Circuits.
I mean, if you think Antonez as how bad he
Joel
was
Albrecht.
in 87, yeah, Joel Albrecht. R&D Suzuki was that was the bike
that was
have.
the deal. Yeah, and we got a giveaway. We want to encourage you guys to follow us on Instagram. I don't know all the different channels we're on, but look us up on Winners Take Y'all. John's holding up the jersey thanks to Smokeshowmx. Is that right? Smokeshowmx.com for the Jordon Smith jersey. We've got Jordan on tonight. That is a official Geico jersey. It's signed.
Geico Honda.
Yeah,
Signed jersey.
Yeah, we want to hook you up, so follow us. We'll give you the rules on our Instagram, how to win that thing. And we've got Jordan on. Thanks again to Smokeshowmx. Follow those dudes on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, Hot or Not, Rate My Poo, whatever they're into, man. We
Farmers only.
Absolutely. So we got it's round. We don't typically dive into race breakdowns because I like to think our shows are evergreen. And I say that because we got some awesome interviews that are stocked up. Like if you want to go listen to David Bailey, it's relevant right now. If you want to listen to Bob Hanna, Rick Johnson, Jeff Stanton, Jeff Ward, holy cow,
Tim Ferry,
Ezra Lusk,
yeah,
Travis Pastrana, Chad Reed on the same
Matt
show,
Walker.
Ricky Carmichael, Matt Walker, you name it. We've got a shit ton of dudes. They're all there on our podcast. We're on the Vurb Podcast Network, so I encourage you to follow that. Follow us. Follow the whatever.
And so on the YouTube feed, though, there is a Vurb Moto channel for Winners Take Y'all, and then we started pulling some of our own. So there's also a Winners Take Y'all page. So try to find that one for the more recent shows. Vurb has our older shows.
Yeah, we stopped kind of messing with it because we didn't think the quality of the production was there. So Jake is obviously, you can see a lot more shit sitting around here. John went and dropped I guess the TV is about $80 now.
$112, with tax.
That TV, I'm thinking it's $1,800 about 10 years ago. Is that a plasma? You feel the heat coming off that plasma TV?
No, I can tell you.
The
first guy I knew that bought two plasmas, they were not that big. He bought a
$5,000.
No, it was more than that. He bought a 38 and a 42. And the two of them together were $14,000.
I believe it.
Forget all that, dude.
Our home computer we bought from Sears that Mom bought was
Tandy?
No, it wasn't a Tandy. It was a straight up like Packard Bell.
Tandy was Radio Shack.
It was like $2,800, and it had. It was a package deal. You got the printer. You got the whole deal.
I mean, what is a laptop now?
Nothing.
$400, $300,
$300 or $400. So, and it'll outperform that computer.
Oh my goodness! You can go to the moon on your phone can do.
Yeah,
that. Literally, it can do all those calculations. So you see in the background, we're going to have this rolling in the background. I know you guys have already seen Anaheim 1. I mean, no questions were answered, and I love that. I love going into round 2 knowing Tomac's got to feel good. Jet's got to be bummed about this bike setup. You know, they're feverishly working on that setup. Cooper, all right, not a bad first race. Yep. Joe Shimoda always starts slow, or does he? Holy cow.
Well, the boys from Colorado, the Bromata Life, called it. They're like Shimoda. And I'm going, yeah, he'll take till round 9, 10 before he's doing something. And they're like, no, he's going to win.
But it'll be interesting to see with Shimoda now what that confidence does for it.
He's sure. He's won races, but like
he's fast.
Starting him off early though is
I mean he's going to go into it now with, hey, I can do it. You know what I mean? I got these guys. Some of these guys handled whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's.
But the lap times don't lie. When you look at him, you're like, I mean, Hayden was probably the fastest guy on the racetrack. I mean, but I love it. Like that's racing. You still got to race.
How cool was it though? The two that you're going to call for the win had trouble in the first turn.
My son, like my kids are into this. Like Casey and them, we're texting text group during the race the whole time. Casey's got money on this race through DraftKings. He goes, "Here's my bet. What do you think?" I'm like, I mean, of course, I love Jet and I love Hayden. By all means, his top 3 look good. And in 1 second in the race, he goes, well, there's that. That's over. The first turn, it like smoked his bet.
And how disappointed was everybody on earth when Eli crashed on the first lap?
Oh, and got ran over by Chase, man.
Yeah.
That looked pretty gnarly.
We all remember Eli, too. Like, remember when he was on it might have been the Honda or the Cowie, dude, when there were times that he would have a race, something would happen, he'd stay in 8th, and he would just finish an eighth.
Just
I'm
get
like-
eighth.
And then the next weekend he would absolutely
He could go
murder
from
guys.
39th to first.
But now
the
I
next
think that's done. Like he went all the way to the back, and dude, straight to fifth. I call that a win.
And
in my
I'll say
book.
this, man, Tomac he just keeps climbing on the overall list for all-time motocross.
Oh, yes.
And dude's pretty
Winning.
much number 2 all time.
That's a quiet number 2. He's not flashy. You know, when you think of Supercross, it's James, it's Chad, it's Ricky, it's MC.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I think
Dungy,
Racer X posted
Filippotto.
that 22 more points, and he's got the most Supercross points obtained ever. LaRocco leads it, obviously, with a 55-year career. But I'm at the point now where
He's
I
the bad
want
man.
Tomac to win.
Let's go.
Let's
I
let
got
him
no
win
problem with
on the
that.
way out, dude, because Homeboy is bad to the bone and always has been. How
Even-
cool would it be to send him off with a title?
Well, there's a couple of things that bring me to more like when he was winning back all the time. I didn't hate him or whatever, but he just wasn't always
It's
that
lukewarm.
guy.
I had a
Yeah.
lukewarm.
Well, he had
I
a
was lukewarm
calm
to him.
personality. He didn't
Yes.
tell you much.
But with him now, like he's riding harder, and then the donations put me over the top for that cat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it really did. Like,
Well, he's that old guy now, right? He's the vet of the sport. Everybody pulling for this guy.
identifies.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I will say this. I rewatched the race in that main event. It is so loud. You hear it on the broadcast. It drowns James and those guys out. It was amazing. I've never heard any stadium that loud.
Cheering for Tomac.
Oh, yeah, it was
Wygant
awesome.
said he even posted on, if you watch the Weed Show, he said on that first lap, he got his phone out, and before he could hit record, because he wanted the ambient noise, he was in the crowd, he goes, I wanted to hear that. And before he could do it, Tomac was already down. It's cool, though. Every time he would make a pass or Hayden or whatever, you can hear that crowd react to, and I'm like, dude, you're watching a broadcast, you're like, dude, pan to whatever's happening, because I hear it.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
But then think
they
about
can't
this.
go.
They even said on the broadcast, they're like, okay, now, Tomac's back with Jet, right? Well, Tomac wound up fifth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Jet crashed twice. He did go
yeah,
down.
he
so-
did go, but
he didn't make the same
That's
progress.
racing.
It was
Yeah,
obvious it wasn't the same Jet that we're used to seeing. For
correct.
Sure.
Which, how awesome would it have been if Tomac would have been out front
Going with
and with him and
Chase,
Sexton?
Oh, you would have had a race. You would have. Yeah, that would have been a dogfight.
I love it when we leave a race like that and we still have. It may as well be Anaheim 1
That's
again.
how-
'cause
yes,
I
I
love
love it.
that. Like Coop, I can make a claim for Coop having a great night. Jason Anderson had a great night. Like they're to be that far. They're normally like super quick starters. It's normally Daytona and beyond.
Man,
Coop,
that was a great
factor.
ride for sure.
I love it. So we've got Doc McGinley on as well, who's got a privateer support program where I think Austin Kozat is a part of that. So he's helping out with all these 250 and 450 riders, and he's got some cool stuff. So I actually messaged him after Evan Ferry, Jalik Swole, and then we, of course, Tomac's Achilles. I was like, man, is there something to this? So he went out and bought the foot pegs that these guys are running.
Are they all running the same foot peg?
I don't know, but
Okay.
but he's going to answer some of those questions. Like, is it a riding style thing? Are we more up on a bike? Kyle, you might be able to. You guys can speak to this more than I can. Is it a riding style? Is it a foot peg thing? Is it a boot thing?
I think it was really truly more of a boot issue at this
Well,
point.
don't they
Just
all
fine.
wear Alpine Stars?
Maybe.
They do, but they thin areas out to make them a lot more
they
flexible.
sort of
they're not the same boots
customize
that you're
them.
getting off the shelf. No, it's a different boot.
So we'll ask Doc about
So do
that.
we think? He may not even know about how these dudes are like
bet he
shaved
does.
down their boots.
I bet he does.
You think so?
He's
Sure
pretty
he
locked in. He travels and he's a big part of all the. Like he said, I told him we had Jordon on. He goes, "Hey, that's one of my customers. I'd helped him with his arm pump." So he's locked in with these dudes too.
There's a lot of talk about the bike setup, though. Nicoletti said something about dudes running less sag these days.
Yeah.
They don't let the rear end sit as low. It's sitting higher. And I just wonder if that might kick the bike harder or so. I don't know the difference in less sag, more sag, but that's one of Tomac's biggest things. If the rear end isn't sitting at the right height, he can't charge.
I'll be interested here because you think like you're talking about they shaved the boots down, and I remember even like James had a pair of Nike boots or something one time.
Yeah, him and
Dungy
Dungy did.
Yeah,
Dungy.
right. So you wear boots for a reason, right? I mean, you wear.
It's never been for Achilles. It's always been for I feel like left-right movement, not this stretching out. Of,
now everybody's trying to get like.
no, that's
We can.
Everybody's trying to get all the heel drop they can. You know what I mean? So if you go,
that's where I'm thinking. It's just your position is your heels are lower and whatever. And
Yeah.
you're already in a position to snap it right there.
or like in kind of my John's case, if you're riding an '86 XR 250
Ugh.
and jumping that at vintage motorcycle days, you'll have sore Achilles from that as well.
you will have sore everything.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, speaking of the XRs, man, during the snow day, Caleb was like, "Hey, man, can I go ride the bike?" I'm like, "Oh man." I mean, then I thought about it. I'm like, "Hell yeah, you can go ride the bike." If I want to, I told Christina, I was like, "I want to encourage riding. If this makes him want to go ride dirt bikes, then by all means." Riley came up and got a CRF 50.
Oh, you
and
want
went and
him
got an
riding for
XR
sure
50.
because
He's a
if he
savage.
wants to go, no, just the fact that if he wants to go riding, and then Kevin's the one that has to take him, that means Kevin gets to ride.
Oh, I get to go
That's
hang
right.
out.
That's right. Yeah.
But he wanted to go ride, and I was like, absolutely. And after a little bit of consideration, I was like, he goes, "Where can I go?" I said, "You're freaking 18 now." Like, I said, "You can go wherever you." He goes, I said, "Go to the school, go to the store, go wherever you." He goes, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Hell yeah." So,
Are you serious?
And I could see on the Live 360, I'm like, just take it, be responsible.
Because the
Don't-
roads are covered in just snow, or is there
snow, and then it's just asphalt below it, and it's slick as shit. So he goes and rides, and I look on there, I said, "Just take it chill." And I look on there, and he's doing 57 miles an hour.
Oh my god!
You know how fast that feels on a motorcycle in the
going
snow?
57.
top
with
speed on
snow.
those bikes, right? I mean, that's
That's pretty close to top speed on that XR, I
he's
assure you.
moving.
And he was flying. And he
You
came
know how
back.
scary that would be? That's terrifying
Not to him.
me.
Not at all. He didn't even mention it. He came back and goes, "Yeah, it was cool." He's the same kid that went up to Jared's place one time and jumped 85% of everything he had. I'm talking about gaps from here to your thing over there. I saw the video. I'm like, I said, "You've never done this. Like, what? Mind body." Jared goes,
makes you do
Jared
that?
told me point blank that night, he goes, "Your stepson is the most gifted person I've ever seen that's never done this." He goes, I said that he's rode that bike, and he ain't rode it in a year and a half, and he went up there and jumped everything you got, basically. Not the biggest.
That's awesome.
But I was like, I mean, he's nuts on a motorcycle. I want nothing to do with that. But anyway, just motorcycling is just
Awesome.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like, geez, he could be a Mexican.
Dude, I would never ride.
He's
in
a
the snow
wrestler.
that fast.
Hell no. But you know, when you're on a boat, you guys know, being on a boat, doing 40 on the boat feels like you're flying to me, like on the water.
Well, if you hit the ground at 57 miles an hour, it's
Stuff's
it's
happening.
actually fast.
Stuff's happening. Yeah. Yeah.
It don't just feel fast when the skin comes off your face.
So we got a little bit of snow though, huh? How much did you guys get?
3 inches. We got 3 here.
John, Nick, you want to handle this one?
Yeah. That's
I have 3 inches. Me personally, I have 3
Okay.
inches.
I was just, as soon as I said, I was like,
here we go.
here we go, Nick. Yeah. So we got
That's
that
how
going
much
on.
I have.
And,
It's not how much snow you had.
it's how you use
It's
the
how
snow.
you use the snow,
Got it,
John.
got
So
it,
don't
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the motion of
don't
the
feel
snowshoe.
bad.
So we're going to hit up Doc McGinley here in a minute, and that's, I think, between all that stuff, and there was somebody on Facebook, all the Facebook doctors start popping in, and there's some, not a steroid, but a whatever shot. What do you get those?
Cortico.
Yeah, those deals pop in, and now those are whatever. It might have an impact on the strength of your Achilles. So,
So
he,
what does
he
that
had some
do?
thoughts
Does
on
that
that.
does that goof up your muscle fiber?
I'm gonna let him answer.
You know they what are those cortisone shots
Yeah.
people would get?
elbows, neck.
And a
You're
lot of
That
people-
will eventually eat your joints up.
A lot of people say
only
that,
supposed to get 3 in a lifetime. That
yeah,
kind of
and
stuff.
people that'd just be their strategy, dude. That cortisone shot helped. Well,
Yeah,
it
man.
didn't help. It hit all the pain, and now you're demolishing that joint, and you don't
If
even.
I get
know.
one every month, I'll be good.
Sure.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah,
I don't want anything that they say you can only have 3 in your lifetime.
No, when they put a bulletproof vest on, you get an X-ray. I'm like, man, this don't feel right. I don't feel like getting this.
Yeah, hold your breath. It's like,
weird.
What?
Yeah.
Why am I holding my
And why
breath?
are you just covering up this? Cover up my junk.
Everything. Yeah. This
Like
is,
I want,
they
like
used to.
I'm not trying to get a third ball.
I
right?
know,
So-
yeah, that's
Cover up my
right.
junk.
Yeah, well, I mean, my heart's important, yeah, but
that's
not-
number 2. That's
Yeah,
1 and a
I mean,
half. That's
like-
right. A close second.
Yeah, that's the only one I really care about because when the heart goes, I'm not going to know it.
And that ain't going to work. So you're
Yeah.
going to want to be dead
I'll
anyway.
be walking around with this.
Limp thing.
Yeah, what if you kill that? What good's the heart doing me?
Yeah, that's
That's
the
what
only
the
reason
heart
I need it to
is
pump
for
this thing
procreation.
up.
Yes,
Air that thing up.
I don't care about.
You ever
the
stop
rest
by
of it.
Dunlop and let them check the pressure on it?
I do.
Because
They-
when you go up in altitude, you got to get it readjusted.
Yep,
Something
I
to
get
think
that
about.
thing. It blows up a little bit. It gets all that pressure when you're at altitude.
Yes. So we do have Jordon Smith on again, 3rd place finisher, Triumph, first Supercross
Podium.
SMX podium. So props to Jordan.
That's pretty
for
awesome
locking
too.
that
And he
down.
looks good on that bike.
They were talking about him already, so they were saying he was during the preseason he was a guy to watch out for. So
Sorry, we got
Are you
a
good?
fight going on back there.
shut up. So we're watching the race. We have who's winning? Oh, imagine that, Hayden Deegan. Man, shout out to Cole,
Cole
Davies. Cole Davies is like
He looks. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. He looks 5 years
Ready to
into
go.
his career
Okay.
already.
Ready to
Like
go.
as far as his super calm on the bike, super impressive.
Hey, at those speeds, and it's
Yeah.
speeds that I didn't really see coming. As far as, I don't know the background of this dude. So, did you announce him?
Yep.
So you know anything about his?
I didn't know that. I mean, he was in the mix, but nobody knew that. I mean, I didn't. But they, again, we each talked to Duff and those guys after the race, and they're like, when did you know? He goes, like a week into Supercross, and they're like, we're not doing futures. This is dumb. That's a waste of a year.
I think that's amazing to call that, because they kind of did that for Voland, Maximus Voland.
Well, that was a necessity thing. I think they were out of guys, and they had to bump him up. But he was still ready.
But it has not panned out as well. He's had a lot of bad injuries, and you're taking a guy, you're saying, man, this dude's ready. There's a lot to consider.
I mean, you can
right
look
there.
good on a practice track. I mean,
mentally,
yeah,
and
put him in front of
physically,
50,000 people. And
yeah, what happens? And dang, he delivered. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
You know who else did well? I mean, it's his second year, I think, is Ryder D.
Dude,
Well,
Ryder D
this
looks.
is-
I mean,
second year.
second full year Super
Yeah, second full year. I remember he rode amateur like Loretta qualifier when we were at Gatorback that time.
Yeah.
And he was, I mean, obviously he was the fastest person.
He
there.
has I mean, that's a very high pedigree rider. Like that's a
Since
first
50s.
round, first. You expect him to be a starter kind of deal. And last year, I mean, he had some spurts, but everybody's kind of like, so. But good to see him, man. And they said he put on. I watched the press conference. He does. I watched it before they said it. He put on 15 pounds. I'm like, dude, he looks jacked up there, and he does.
And that has got to be part of the factor to go pro, right? I mean, these dudes, some of these guys weigh 130 pounds when they turn
There's
pro.
a weight power ratio. They all want to have these kids.
You put on 15 pounds of muscle, he built some confidence more than anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Go
No,
ahead.
because he was very much a finesse rider if you watched him last year in Supercross. And I don't know if it's a correlation with putting on a little bit of muscle, but he's putting on a little bit of aggression too. And he rode a lot more aggressive than you've seen.
Probably
him
just
in the
being a
past.
man. Like he's a damn man.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Don't feel like a boy anymore.
Yeah.
He whole shot that one outdoor moto last year,
Yep.
and he ran out front, and
Yeah.
he had I don't know why, but it was during the throwback KX that had the purple stuff or whatever on the seat cover and some graphics. His bike didn't necessarily have all that, but something about that just gave me an old Ponca City Team Green look. But yet here he was at the front of the pro class. It's pretty awesome. And I remember when he was on 50s, he would get there'd be full length specials in Racer X about Ryder D.
Absolutely. Him and Jet Reynolds were
he had
coming
the
through.
long hair and stuff, right?
Yep. Cutest kid ever. Like I remember announcing him for the first time. I was like, dude, and I did it on purpose. I'm like, Jason Wagner, look at this kid out front. He is just a massacre in these guys. Like, just a bad looking dude. And then I opened up the Loretta's
Yeah,
annual. I
find
said,
his
look
picture.
at this beast. And he goes, what?
Why is he so
That's
pretty?
the cutest
He's so
human,
pretty.
biggest cheeks. You're like, come here to me, little Ryder D.
Yeah, you just wanna
did
grab
not
his
fit.
cheeks.
Did not fit what he looks like. Yeah, they come from a speedway background. His dad's a badass speedway
They're
guy.
like North California or something.
Yeah,
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield. So it's Styles Robertson, Jet, and
Dwight Yoakam and Buck Owens.
Dwight Yoakam as well. I didn't
Yeah.
know they all trained together
Buck Owens.
out in Baco and in the hills of Bakersfield.
Yeah, they'd walk the streets of Bakersfield, as a matter of fact.
They made a little mistake on the broadcast. Others were like, he's put on 10 to 15 pounds of muscle in the last month.
I was like, wait a minute. I heard that too. I'm
I
like,
wish that was an easy thing to do.
You know, you got tested after that race, right?
thanks a lot, dude. Yeah, I heard that exact same thing in a month. No,
But hey,
It's just
in like
easy.
months.
We saw it in Winners Take All when the guys right before the main event,
Oh, he's curls.
when
Pumping
Bad
iron.
Iron's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
those curls.
hey bear.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's the cure to arm pump.
they said they put on 10 to 15 pounds in the last month, and the testing people just got up and started walking towards his
We'll take a
trailer.
blood sample right there.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
go
it's just magically tested after.
after whoever said that, he's like, "Thanks a lot."
Thanks,
Thanks
buddy.
a lot, dude.
The team manager was like going up in the booth, going, "Somebody needs to shut the hell up in there."
Yeah.
Jesus, man. Hey, John, I know you want to run down and thank our sponsors.
You always think I do,
I know you do. Let's do
but
it.
I'll tell
You're
you.
so good at it.
It's not. Did you hear last week when Nick rattled off the sponsors?
Nick knows all the skins.
But that was your,
I like
your
it.
deal.
I know,
Let's go.
but we used to have a nice list. And
Nick, hook up
was-
the sponsors,
It
dude.
sounded
Let's go.
so good, and Nick was.
I just want to. I want you to be in on this, John. We'll start
you
with
just
with,
delve-
with
all right, let me start.
okay. You
All right,
start.
pork skins,
Helmet skins,
Sheepskins.
Lever
Dang,
skins.
lever skins. Okay,
spoke skins, lamb skins,
Skintastic.
shirts and
I
skins.
do remember skin-tastic.
Skin on skin or it ain't going in.
See, when you say sponsors these days, I just wish we.
Had
Had one.
I
real.
wish they gave us bags. I wish they were real, man. It'd be so
That'd be cool, man.
I also wish
We're
we
gonna
got
get a
pig
real
skin.
girl one
Or,
day.
Yeah.
What
Hey,
pork skins? That's
don't-
what I wish
don't
we
you-
just had bags of those.
Just say it laying around.
And just be like,
that would be the single worst thing you could eat on this thing. It would be the most crunchy.
For everybody besides us.
Oh,
It
it's
would be good for
delightful.
us.
ASMR style.
You know, you take some pork skins, put a little hot
Here we
sauce on
go.
that shit.
There we go.
Mucho delicioso.
I get down with that.
I watched my dad survive for days on end on pork skins, Vienna sausages, and Miller Lite.
Beer. I was
Hey,
waiting on the beer.
Let me tell you, speaking of that, and I know we had an in-depth conversation with Ryan Villapoto about processed foods and all this stuff and everything, the
The
poisons in our
goddamn
food.
American food systems effed. He just
Yeah.
screaming it out in this bar.
I'm starting to doubt that.
Why? Because of
Why is
pig
that?
skins?
Well, just because
What are they? Pork
the
skins?
life
Pork
expectancy
It's gotten longer and longer.
Like people are living longer and longer.
than ever. They just
Ever.
live with that because they can live with cancer for 30 damn years.
I was about to
Yeah.
say it's medications
And they're
medicine is really
and I
good.
know for a fact that you guys have heard us talk about Robbie before. Robbie literally, for as long as I can count on my fingers and toes at least, but I mean, for a long time, this is no joke. His daily intake is 2 bags of chocolate mini donuts and 5 20-ounce Red Bulls
Yeah.
daily. Not buys the Red Bulls or the donuts, and that's daily. And then there's another guy that
Okay, but you're not saying he's like a picture of health, right? You're not trying to say like with that
he
lifestyle.
functions.
Okay, but he is a walking time bomb.
Look at that motorcycle that I have for sale on Facebook. That's basically Robbie's counterpart.
He functions. He hasn't died yet.
Well, he's on his slow way to doing it. That's for sure. So.
For sure.
And I knew another guy. There's another guy he had a hernia that looked like 2 basketballs hanging in a sack. A hernia that literally hung down to his knees.
Yikes.
And he's been living on Vienna sausages and Mountain Dew for as long, like the last 10 years.
Ugh.
Yeah, but that's his quality of life now. That he's done it to himself, so I'm sure he's not real pumped about it.
Yeah, but I don't know. You get what you want.
Dude, I mean, I gotta be honest. If I could get away with eating donuts and Red Bulls and shit,
Oh, you would do it in a heartbeat.
but you can't, man. I feel like garbage.
Who
He
wouldn't?
has to feel like garbage,
That's
man.
what I'm saying.
I think when you go,
His result-
I think it gets the other way where, like now, if I eat something super shitty, like this is going to sound so damn.
Hurry up, Nick. Get your point
fruit-free.
across.
Listen, we got 2 minutes.
I like how y'all just skip over 100 ounces of Red Bull a day or whatever you said.
Yeah, it was literally 100 ounces of Red Bull a day. There's no
that
joke.
cannot
Not
be good
one
for
day,
you.
7 days a week.
That's
Like,
expensive too.
he'll get up during the middle of a dead sleep, crack a Red Bull, drink it, and go back to bed.
In the middle of sleeping.
Yeah, no
I, mean, I don't
doubt.
know why I'm up. I just get me another Red Bull and zonk out. It's
And
probably
I
like,
try to do everything right, and I can't sleep for shit. And he's over there getting 9 hours a night with.
but he has to
Sleeping
drink.
like he's got good credit, baby.
Yeah,
he ain't got that either, dude.
His own Red Bull. I mean,
Like he's got the mortgages paid off. He sleeps
Man,
better than
ever Since I
everybody.
hit Easy Street, there ain't nothing to it. I
He's
just go to
sleeping in a
bed.
garage on a creeper underneath a damn square body Chevrolet.
Hey, you can
And
sleep in a garage on a creeper better than you can sleep anywhere during daylight hours.
it's because your ass is tired.
My
if you're on
mechanics would roll up under them 750s or whatever. And
Hey, Jordan's leading y'all.
If you weren't careful, I mean, you disturb them when you came out there to, tell them what other truck
plop
broke.
that
They'd be
oil.
like,
I got a
"Hey,
guy
man,
working now
what's that?"
takes
No,
a-
I'm working, I swear.
No, you wasn't.
They got drool running down the side of their mouth.
I got one guy now that takes an afternoon nap every time. I catch him every afternoon. I
Hey,
walk in,
there's a
he's-
little bit of a study shown that if you'll give them 20 minutes, just let them sleep. They'll be more productive.
More productive, absolutely.
I had one of the smartest guys I've known. When we have Barsha on, I don't know if I should really talk, but because Barsha's ex-girlfriend's dad, and they were all tight. Dana, Dana,
yeah.
yeah. And Dana was, he was very quiet, but he was very intelligent, like smart guy. He took a nap every day. We'd be at the car auction.
LeBron James
There's
takes one every
studies-
day. Like
there's
they all
studies
do.
about that.
All the
We'd be
athletes
at the
do.
car auction, be 100 degrees, and I'd start looking for Dana, getting ready to go. And I'd go out, and he'd be in a conversion van. He's cranked it up, turned the air on. He's going to get his 20, 30-minute nap, no matter what.
Feel great.
See,
after
and I
it.
couldn't just
You go
sleep
any
in
longer
some
than that, you feel
place.
like crap.
Yeah.
No, I can't
Yes.
either.
But no matter what. And he was a brilliant guy.
There's studies shown about your hormone levels, and that's like a quick replenishment.
Yeah.
Makes you feel better for the afternoon.
Hey, before we get Doc McGinley on, like as we watch the race in the background, what is your like the first? They always say the first race we want to dumb it down, make it. It wasn't.
Wasn't
Nothing. It wasn't
incredibly
anything
dumbed
anybody
down.
couldn't do. That,
I've seen them worse dumbed down.
no, I agree. It was technical enough, and there were the ruts, and it was good enough. It was raceable, dude. And I'll say this: that all the old California bullshit about their dirt being trash
This looks pretty
looks
good.
good to me, man.
Yeah.
The
I know
West
they
Coast
said it
thing,
got slick, but everything gets slick.
yeah,
at
night.
You know what I mean?
What night for sure?
I think San Diego gets slicker than this, is what I've heard. I don't.
I would think that's moist air.
And it would have to be worse on the East Coast because that gets slick with no humidity.
Yeah.
Right.
You know that.
Yeah.
we have a lot of domes too, so hopefully that will.
Well, I
alleviate
thought the
some of
track
that.
was raceable enough, and I mean, people were able to get around.
Sure. I mean,
You
we watched
know,
Tomac pass a shit ton of guys. Hayden passed a bunch of guys.
As usual, the last chance qualifiers delivered.
Oh,
in
how good was
spades.
that?
Dylan Ferrandis trying to pass. Grease
Ferrandis
on
went around the
Come on,
outside,
man.
dog. Like, what? Don't get there.
Hey, you're not cold trickle, baby.
It was just a second ago when Ferrandis was lightning fast outdoors. Do you remember that? Just the speed. Sometimes
Yeah.
you'd be watching him like, God, how
It's
can
gonna
he
be a
do
long
this?
3 years now. This dude's gonna run the table for the next.
But I
X
think
amount of
it's
years.
still in him. I think he can. I think he may not have the equipment or whatever. He's battling like. I mean, it's not uncommon. I think Hunter didn't make the main last year at A1.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So it's not like this is a big. This happens occasionally.
Yep.
But I don't think that's going to be his norm as LCQs.
No.
The speed was there just 3 years ago.
Well, I
maybe
could
4
pat myself on the back with that one because I never call who's going to win, like the series or championship and everything. But when Ferrandis moved up to 450, I was like, he's going to kill him this year. Like, he's going to dominate. And
Yeah.
everybody's telling me, oh, you're stupid.
I'm gonna ring up.
He
Doc
dominated.
here.
You know what I mean?
give him a
Like, he
call.
was lightning that
He
year.
was awesome. there.
Smooth. Oh, my
Yeah.
God. Are we out of Fireball?
No, it's just in the fridge. Would you like some, Nicholas?
I just don't know
we
what
go.
the hell's going on here.
It's going live. We'll do it live.
Hello.
Hello, Doc McGinley. Welcome. You are live on Winners Take Y'all. I didn't want to, because I've had guys on before. My name's Kevin Kelly, by the way. We've had guys on, and we'll talk for a few minutes. He goes, all right, are we going on? I'm like, no, man, you've been on for 5 minutes. So I kind of want to give you that and let you know before you, whatever. You fresh out of surgery?
Just got out of surgery. Yeah, I appreciate that heads up. That's for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't want you to, whatever. Oh, man, just taking a hit of some of this pain med they got in the
And, hey,
hospital.
we're also smart. Start by telling you we're not very bright.
Yes.
So you have to dumb everything down, and it's going to be dumb. So if you, I just don't want to surprise you, and there'll be an uncomfortable silence where
Yes.
you're like, ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, we like to have a good time. We like to laugh. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's motocross. It's
Keeping
fun.
it authentic and real. I mean, that's the way to go.
Not going to change. We will not change. So, again, I want to welcome Doc McGinley. You're located in, is it Wyoming? Is that correct?
Casper, Wyoming. That's right.
where the real cowboys are.
What's the moto scene
Oh.
out in Wyoming? I mean, do you have to go to Idaho and race some of those events down there? Or?
No way. We have a strong motocross circuit out here. Here in Casper, we have a great race as part of the Rocky Mountain Series. So, our main race in the summer, we'll get 600, 700, 800 riders at the track. It's a beautiful course. It's a sand track, and it's well groomed. The guys take care of it. It's a volunteer group that runs it, and absolutely amazing. Called Boomtown Motocross. Absolutely amazing
awesome.
track.
Town.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the RMX
Yep.
series. I think I go out and work for those guys when we go to the Vurb race, the World Mini out in Arizona. I think it's part of the owner of that series runs around, and he runs that particular racetrack as well, I believe.
I'm just in all the whole concept of what he just said. Just like it's so cool that they volunteer, run it, and have an awesome race. You know what I
Hangtown,
mean?
same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Dirt
awesome.
niggers.
Yeah,
Yep,
dirt
same
niggers.
thing.
Southwick, kind of
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah,
things.
it's pretty cool. I mean, they give you a code to the padlock to get into the gate. So, as a member of the group, you can just go and ride, and yeah, it's really cool. And they have a motocross track, and they have a longer enduro track on the outside, and it's all a sand track. So it's really nice course. But yeah, pretty much most cities here in Wyoming have tracks. So yeah, there's a whole circuit around the state as well, and enduro racing's pretty popular out here. I actually tried an enduro for some of my friends run the race here in Casper, and it was a real deal enduro race, and they talked me into doing it. And man, that was a mistake. I'm first too old to be doing that, but
It's
second, I had the wrong
difficult.
bike. I've motocrossed my whole life, so I had a 450 Husky, and I tried to go out in enduro, and I knew I made a mistake when I showed up, and everyone had 2 strokes and 250s, and I was like, "What in the world's happening here?" But I made it. I got through. Didn't get hurt. Had a great time.
Yeah.
And hey, if you would have gotten hurt, can you lay there and just start assessing yourself like bone by bone and just kind of run down the body?
Somebody give me some needle nose and some channel locks. I got to fix this.
You're like, what?
Absolutely. That's how you got to go.
Somebody hand me the surgery kit off the back of my bike.
Yeah, he has it on full on surgery.
Stat.
kit.
And you use words like that.
All right, so I want to get into some stuff with you. I want to go ahead and highlight your program because we are all about the privateers, the guys footing the bills. So Tell me how that program even works. I haven't done a ton of research. Like, if I wanted to be a part of it, how would I go about it? I think Austin Kozad, he's one of our locals from Alabama.
Yep.
They're great families. I think he's in on your program.
He is. Yeah, absolutely. So just to be clear, I'm not a team owner or anything. We are the main sponsor of the team. So John Ayers Jr. is the one that runs it. He's the one that sort of takes care of logistics for MX Sports in the summertime for the Pro Nationals. So it's his team. He's running it. And this was sort of motivated by TPJ Racing and Ted Park. So, Ted did this forever. And, he retired this past year and spend more time with his grandkids and family. And, there was a bit of a gap for privateers at that point. And, for a while it looked like no one was stepping up. But then I received a call from John, who I've known from Motocross Nationals. And he said, hey, he said, I know you really appreciate the sport and the privateers. He said, I got an opportunity for you. Do you want to take a look at it? And he said it, and I started laughing at first. I'm like, how do we get involved and become a sponsor of a race team? I said, we're just a small practice here in Wyoming. But he sent it over, and we kept talking about it. And really, it became a great opportunity to work with the grassroots of racing, really, motocross, supercross, everything. So we were able to pull it together. We got a bunch of other sponsors in. And the great thing about us sponsoring it is not only can we help the guys out when they have injuries, but because we're a medical practice, we don't interfere with their, individual sponsorships. So they can have whatever gear sponsorships they want, whatever part sponsorships. So it allows the riders themselves to recruit additional sponsors to support their own personal programs. So amazing. To answer your question on how to get involved, you can message me. I can pass it along to John. He does have an Instagram page. You can also message the Privateer Support Program on Instagram and just let him know you're interested in becoming part of it. He'll send the information out. Essentially provides, travel support of the bikes, logistics at the races. They have food for the riders. And then he has a bunch of other services with social media and everything else as part of that. John would be the one to talk to about the logistics, but I can help facilitate that if someone messages me.
So one of the things this weekend was the Kawasaki Science of Supercross, and they is this the one where there was the 4-stroke versus 2-stroke, and they kind of featured maybe one of the riders that you guys assist, which is Jared Lesher. Is that am I right on that?
Oh yeah, we got the only 2-stroke in the class is in our trailer, man.
Yeah,
that thing is sweet.
Hour
it's
from us.
Wonderful.
I think that's pretty cool. So you got it kind of featured in a way. I mean, I don't know what all he said on the, as far as your program here, but what a cool thing. I mean, it is odd just to have a small medical practice be involved. It's pretty awesome.
It makes total sense.
It does. Yes.
Yeah, some of it's just my passion for the sport. I've raced it for years as an amateur back in the day, and I still ride. My son rides. I'm out here at the track during the summertime. So I enjoy going. I enjoy being part of the sport, and if it helps us grow some business to the practice, great. What I talked to John is I said I hope I break even, so my wife will ask me to continue doing this. But
for sure,
I said that's what we're shooting. We're shooting for break even. We're not shooting for 5-time return on investment or anything like that. I said if we break even, we're all good. We're helping out the riders. We're helping people get to the track. That's all we're looking for.
Well, as long as you just drive up your cost per lap when you ride. I mean, that's what we do. We spend as much money as possible on everything that we can so that every lap is like $800.
And you think about it, it's so painful.
Don't think about it. Do not add these numbers up. Hey, do you know the population of Casper, Wyoming? I mean, there's not many people in Wyoming, is there?
Our whole state is less than 600,000, and this is a large state. Landmass is approximately as big as Pennsylvania. So our city of Casper, it's the second largest city. We're shy of 60,000 people in Casper.
And every single person drives
wonderful.
a flatbed F-350?
There's lots of trucks here, that's for sure. You don't really see many EVs or anything.
Me and Nick, we do a ride out west every year. We do a big long haul off-road ride. It's about 1,000 miles and different state every year. But when I went to actually Laramie, and I was blown away at the number of flatbeds pulling cattle or horses or something.
I mean, it's the real West. This is the real cowboys and ranchers out here. I'm originally from Philadelphia, and then I did my medical training out at Stanford on the West Coast. So I was Philadelphia, San Francisco Bay Area, and then came to Wyoming. My wife and I came here about 15 years ago. And I had never experienced a place like this in my life. It's absolutely stunning landscape and beautiful. And it is real deal cowboys. I mean, one of my friends, when I first came out, they took us to a branding, and I'd never been to like a real branding. I got to tell you, there's no OSHA laws there. That's for sure.
No, there's not. Danger. They're good. They're cool with danger, right?
And they threw me in. I was just watching. I'm like, yeah, I'm watching. I'm not going to get in anyone's way. One of the cowboys like, hey, you going to help out, or are you going to stand there and watch? I'm
Pull
like,
that
I'll get
steel
involved
out of the fire with your bare hands and let's brand a cow.
Oh man, I was so sore the next day. I used muscles I never even knew I had.
Oh, that's awesome, man. For real.
So speaking of muscles and what you guys do, I know one of your primary things that I've heard you talk about is your arm pump procedure. Yep. It's very minimally invasive. Tell me what that even looks like, because I know what it used to look like when everybody had the big zipper
just
on
rip
there.
your arm open and tear
was
stuff.
that necessary? Do you look at that and go, holy cow, man, you don't have to do that?
That's correct. Surgery really is no longer needed for this. I developed this procedure actually about 12 to 15 years ago, and it started in the calves. So you can get similar to arm pump. You can get it in the calves. We see it a lot with soccer players. So the first patient I ever treated was a soccer player, and a main part of our practice is soccer. So I treat a lot of European and Olympic and pro soccer players here in Casper, Wyoming. But as I was developing that procedure, I recognized the symptoms. I said, it sounds like arm pump. I knew it from racing. And then my first motorcycle racer actually was a freestyle motocross guy, and we got him treated. He did great, and sort of the rest is history. We ramped up from there. Motocross Action, Dirt Rider magazine both did articles on this back in about 2019, believe it or not. But it really didn't pick up in the sport until I treated Avery Long about 2-3 years ago. So Avery was, obviously top amateur. He's with AEO, KTM now. He had arm pump, and it looked like it was going to end his career. And he came out, we treated him, and then he started telling everyone, and sort of just grew from there. But it's minimally invasive, so no surgery. We use image-guided injections, so just very small needles, and we go in and fix the actual problem. So we find where the blood vessels are being compressed in the forearm, and then we target those areas for treatment. And by fixing the problem, then the symptoms go away. Whereas with the surgery, they literally just cut open the covering of the muscle to allow more space for the muscle to swell. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So are those blood vessels in the sheathing of the muscle itself that you're seeing compressed, or is it
they're
muscles?
deeper down. So
it's deeper. Okay.
Yeah, so what happens, those blood vessels will get compressed, and then the blood can't exit from the muscles. So if you think about it, when you're working out, your heart's pumping, it's pumping blood through the arteries to the muscles. The oxygen nutrients then go to the muscle, and then the veins bring the blood back. When you start getting arm pump, those veins get compressed. So you essentially get an outflow obstruction. The blood can't get out of the muscles. It starts to swell. That's where you get arm pump. Yeah.
There's that disaster.
So we go in and treat pieces of muscle.
I don't know if you're familiar with Larry Brooks. Like, his almost exploded. I mean, I know I'm probably exaggerating that a little bit, but there's that myth of his. I don't know. Are you familiar with that story?
I'm not. No. I know Larry Brooks, but I don't know him personally, but I know who he is. But yeah, I've not heard that.
You have to ask him about his exploding forearms or whatever. Something
This
to
is
that
intriguing,
effect.
though. So all these people that had this forearm pump surgery, I mean, I'm sure it was slightly effective, or maybe it was totally effective. I don't know. But the biggest thing was you just sliced everything open, and you're a motocrosser who needs to be training.
Let the air out.
Yeah, and you hit the valve and let the air out.
Yeah, just bleed your arms.
But these guys, they don't need to be down any more than they're already down. It sounds like what you're doing. I mean, is there a recovery period on this, or is it relatively minimal?
Well, first for the surgery, it does work for some people, and for a lot of people, it'll work for a period of time. But what happens is scar tissue will eventually form after those surgeries, and then those forearms can get tight again. So because they only cut the covering, eventually that'll get tight. And you're absolutely right. By cutting the covering of the muscles, you actually change the mechanics of the muscle. So not only is there recovery time, but you change how the muscles function, because it changes sort of the direction of how they flex. So that can also be a problem. But with ours, depending on what time of the season it is, we use different types of injections to allow the riders to get back there based on what their schedule looks like. So, as a physician, I always want more time to do it correctly and give enough time for recovery. Right. But if someone calls and said, hey, I have a race in 2 weeks, can we get this fixed? I'll say yes, there's some risk to that, but we can make that happen for sure. And we've done it. We've actually done one of the pro riders at the Nationals this summer. He called me on Saturday night after the National, said the arm pump's killing me. He's been bugging me. I can't ignore it anymore. I need it fixed. I said, we'll see you Monday. We'll get it fixed. I said, when do you want to ride? He says Saturday. And I was like, oh man. I said, we can probably do it. There's going to be some risk that you have some weakness. So they said, as long as you're okay, possibly missing that race, I said, we can give it a shot. And we did. We got him treated, and he actually went out and raced. No arm pump, felt great.
That's
so,
amazing.
you know, that's not the ideal situation, but it worked well for him. Other ones, I mean,
Go ahead.
you know, it takes a little bit longer. Yeah,
So-
I said the ideal situation is we usually want about 3 to 4 weeks from when we treat you to your next more important race.
Oh, do you guys have like a home kit? You just send us a bunch of needles and we could do it on
Just
each other.
stab them in there.
Yeah, sounds like so minimally invasive. We just
YouTube companion
Check.
video. I mean,
I'm not
No.
in Philadelphia anymore. Can't do that.
So, Doc, these needles are not truly, they're not like as pointy as a regular needle. It's more like you're going to go in there and massage things around to make it where that blood vessel has room to send the blood back to the heart. You're not like, it's not
Yeah,
full needle, right?
it's an injection. So we are injecting there like any other injection. And to be honest, if you're getting poked with a needle, you want it sharper, not dull. So that's
point.
another misconception. 'Cause,
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, you want a sharp needle. You don't want a dull needle. But
it with a
these
butter
are tiny,
knife.
tiny needles. Yeah,
butter
exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, so
It's like cutting
you
a
do
steak with a butter
inject
knife.
something in there then. I kind of
We do.
pictured like a
That's right.
needle going in that's bigger, and then you're sticking something more dull in there and moving things. But you're letting the injection do the moving.
That's obviously why we're not doctors.
Obviously.
I can see him on the operating table.
you plug that
Hey,
thing in.
you're on the operating table. Butter knife, suction,
Yeah.
suction.
tape,
Air compressor. Yeah.
zip ties.
Impact wrench.
Yeah, and what we're
WD-40.
injecting is a form of Botox. So
Okay.
it blocks little pieces of the muscle. So there's several different types of essentially of Botox. It's botulinum toxin, it's called. There's 5 or 6 different types, and depending on what the results we're looking for, we'll decide which one to use and in which dose, and then target very specific pieces of muscle to make that work.
Dude, genius. And I mean, you're like the James Andrews of like the Tommy John surgery. You're the guy. Are there many people performing this? And I'm sure it can be done, but like you seem to be the guru.
Yeah, I'm the only one. So we actually, believe it or not, we're able to get a patent on this procedure.
there you
sweet.
go.
Because
Right
of
on.
the uniqueness of it. Just because, again, you don't want people doing it incorrectly, and then the whole thing sort of blows up at that point where people don't know how to do it and they're guessing where they're going. I've had docs come out and train and everything, but you have to do quite a few of them to get good at it. So a lot of those that came out and trained, they'll typically now recognize it and then send it out to me for treatment. And, when I call them, I said, hey, you train, you can do it. They're like, listen, if this was my daughter or my neighbor, I would want you doing it. So, that's sort of how that works. It's just, it's not a big enough problem. It's not like an ACL tear or meniscal tear where there's a whole bunch of them. Arm pump's very specific to motorsports. Same thing, the calf's very specific to soccer and those type of sports. So, we're pretty much the main, actually we are the main place for this worldwide.
Well, it's good that you did it. I mean, the patent's awesome. You keep people from having like arm pump parties since it's Botox. Like, those women have those Botox parties.
Yes. Dude,
Botox
showing up at
parties
your
in
house.
subdivision.
Hey, guys, we're having an arm,
Arm
pump
pump
party.
party. So everybody we can get your smile lines and your arm pump
Yeah,
fixed.
fix those wrinkles in your forehead. I find this, this sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And how rare is it that the doctor has probably experienced arm pump? He's experienced what he's
no
treating.
doubt.
Greg, maybe if you didn't ride, you would have never been able to
I don't even know that it's a thing.
because if you didn't ride, like if we went to a doctor that knows nothing about motocross, which I'm sure 99.999% of them don't, and you said, I've got this arm pump problem, they'd be like, what?
Stop doing it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Right.
Don't do it.
Yeah, doctor, it hurts when I go like this. We'll quit going like that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, that does happen quite a bit. But you're right. I mean, the fact that I'm a rider and I've raced back in the day, I knew what arm pump was, so I recognized it right away, and it was similar to what I was treating in the calves. So it helped expedite that jump. But eventually, some motocross guy would come in and say, "Hey, this is what I have. This is what may be similar." But that made it a lot easier having that knowledge base. You did hit a frustrating point, though. A lot of riders, when they go see their primary care docs or orthopedic surgeons, they'll get lectured about riding motorcycles like they're 5 years old or something.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And this, even some of the factory pros that happens, believe it or not. I've heard so many stories on that. It's shocking. Like, factory riders will go in, they'll get a doc that, that hasn't, treated motocross racers and things like that before. Like, why are you doing that? That's dangerous. You shouldn't be doing that. It's insane to be judgmental, about the sport someone does without understanding it. And it's their job. I mean, it's their profession.
For sure.
But yeah, don't get me started on that. It's a bit frustrating.
It's funny. My old doctor as a kid, all the way up till I was like 14, my pediatrician smoked like a
freight
chimney.
train. Yeah.
I'm like, this guy's smoking, telling me not to ride dirt
Telling you
bikes. I'm
you
like,
should smoke.
how about you do
For the
you?
health
I'll ride dirt bikes, whatever. But hey, let's shift gears and talk about the Achilles, the rash of Achilles injuries, if you want to call it a rash. Like,
we just never saw
I've never
it.
heard it or heard of it until now. So maybe you can kind of speak to why it's starting to happen. We did touch on a little bit. The boots are a little different for the pro riders versus what you buy off the shelf. So that that allows a lot more flexibility, and you can speak more on the rest of it.
Yeah, this was a hot topic, a year or so ago when Eli Tomac tore his Achilles, and then sort of went away. Everyone was injuring their thumbs, and now we're back on the Achilles again with Jalise Swall and Evan Ferry tearing their Achilles, and looks like they'll probably be out for the Supercross season. So the questions on that are a little bit complex. First is was there any underlying pathology before we started, right? So we don't know if they had some partial injuries or aches and pains of their Achilles. That would predispose them to tearing. But, assuming that both of them had normal Achilles, what often happens out there in Supercross when timing's everything, you're sitting, depending on where you sit on your pegs, when you're hitting these jumps, triple jumps, it's like falling off a 2 or 3 story building, right? So if you time it correctly, it's like parkour where you just roll and get up and keep going. However, if you mistime it and you sort of impact that ground, the full weight of your body is on your legs. Now, if your foot is sitting just a hair back on the pegs and you're not ready for that, it puts a severe amount of force on that Achilles, and that's what often pops it. Back when Eli tore his, watching the video, that's what looked like what had happened. Looked like the timing just ever so slightly was off, and he was just slightly back on his pegs. And then when he came down on that jump, you just see it. He just pulled right off the track. So that's usually what happens in motocrosses. And again, you're talking like a fraction of a difference as far as landing normally and landing and tearing that Achilles.
There you go. So, and Eli even mentioned that if you're not prepared for or braced for it, he didn't think he was over jumping it, then he's not preparing his body
even
for
more
it. Right.
Rebound to yank back,
So
right?
just that little bit of a pop, like you're saying. So any truth to some of the whatever we were talking about, the cortisone or whatever shots people have taken in the past that might affect the
cortico? Were we talking about? We mentioned steroids, like steroid shots, not necessarily these dudes taking
cortisone. Okay,
or is it cortisone?
Would that affect it?
Yeah, so cortisone and corticosteroids, same thing. It's not, the steroids that, corticosteroids and cortisone, similar generic names. It's not the steroids that make you big and muscular. These are anti-inflammatory steroids, and they do have negative effects on soft tissues anywhere. So we use corticosteroids in our practice for various reasons, arthritis, inflammation, things like that. But I'm very cautious on it. If it were me personally, I really don't want one of those injections in me because it does deteriorate soft tissues, especially tendons. So the Achilles, given that it takes so much force, getting an injection in and around the Achilles is very risky. If you get it one time, probably okay, but repeated injections, you're really asking to tear the Achilles. The other one that you guys brought up was antibiotics. There are certain antibiotics, they don't know the mechanism of why, but there are some antibiotics that have been tied to weakening of the tendons and tearing of the Achilles, specifically very common ones like Levaquin and Cipro. They have been tied to tears of the Achilles and tendon issues. So, those things can contribute to it for sure.
Well, there you have it. So, I mean, there's several different things. And we had checked in on the boots. The boots are a little bit more flexible maybe than the boots you can take off the shelf. And then the foot pegs are ultra aggressive. Like maybe back in the day, you might have just slipped the foot off.
Foot might have slipped off.
Right, and the bike goes flying or whatever. You don't rupture your Achilles.
Yeah, and there's all type of thing on foot pegs, right? So they have some pegs now that have almost a bar support on the back side of the peg, and it's
Steg
designed
pegs
to
or something.
prevent. Yeah, I actually bought a pair to try them to see how they feel. It does provide support for your Achilles. Now, the problem is, when you're moving around on the bike, sometimes you want to get back on those pegs. Like if you're coming down the whoops or in a rough section, you're actually leaning off those pegs a little more, and it does obstruct your motion. So a lot of riders don't like that obstruction to motion. So the benefits of protecting the Achilles are outweighed by the atypical positions that you have to be in when you're in other sections of the track. So, as with everything, pros and cons of those things. There's also foot pegs that rotate ever so slightly as well. That can also, again, help in some scenarios. But you're right. Back in the day, the pegs weren't as aggressive and locked in. So yeah, you may slide your foot a little more, and it may be less likely. So yeah, all these things are pieces that can contribute to these injuries, but it's hard to say. There's pros and cons to all of them.
Two things before we let you go. We got Jordon Smith on the hook here. Neck braces, kidney belts. Are our kidneys stronger now? Have we evolved since the 80s? Because you were part of it. You had to have worn a kidney belt.
I still have my kidney belts. That was the thing back in the day for sure. Yeah, they've gone the way of the dinosaur, and seems like the neck braces for sure. Again, the neck braces, same scenario. So a lot of the riders were concerned that they can't tuck and roll if they get thrown off the bike. So it really limited their ability to be flexible on the bike. So they saw it as a hindrance. So all these things have risks to it. I mean, if you have a known neck injury, maybe it's safer to have it. If you feel more comfortable with it, fine. But yeah, we're seeing less and less on the neck braces. Kidney belts are, a thing of the past for sure.
Why?
But,
Why do we need them to begin with?
They
still
hold
cool.
your fat in.
But we were
Now they
skinnier
look
then.
cool, man.
They did look so
It was
good.
another way to have a name on you. So
Yeah, it really was. More sponsorship.
Gold belt,
yeah,
baby.
on that,
It was like the weightlifting belts, right? I mean, the
UPS
big
still wears
weightlifting belts back then.
those
to
big
keep
leather
your
with a big
back
giant
muscles
belt,
tight.
people crank down.
Ratchet
right.
that thing.
Rah!
Yeah, then you get the good steroids, right?
Yeah.
The real steroids.
Well, another thing before we let you go. So, like, of all the crazy, like Instagram, Facebook, everything now is, and all these influencers, there's all these new health fads, like everything from peptides to sauna to cold plunge to fasting to whatever. What is the one that you see as a physician and an athlete that you laugh at the most when you look at it and you're like, oh my God, it's like a shake weight, or it's a
Shake weight. Nothing beats that.
Yeah, so to be honest, I try not to laugh at any of those things because you never know.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of scientific studies on a lot of them, and I'm fine with the placebo effect. So if you use it and you feel better, then who cares,
Keep
right?
using it, yeah.
If you take some vitamin and it makes you feel better, then great, you're doing better. And whether it's real science behind it or not, it doesn't really matter because you should be treating the patient, not how you feel about what they're doing. So for a lot of these things, I try to listen to the patients and not be judgmental because we only have so many hours in the day. We can't vet each and every one of these things and say it works or doesn't work or there's no science behind it. And usually it's just shades of gray, right? Sometimes there's some science behind it, but it's not complete. Sometimes it has to be used the right way in the right scenario. So all these things, what I tell patients, as long as they don't have a known adverse effect, if you want to try it. And if it works for you, then great. It may not work for everyone, and science may not prove it out. But if it's working for you and it's not causing any harm, then who cares? So yeah, I try to be open-minded about those things in general.
Well, you can leave the making fun of it up to us. So we'll
Yes.
you can vet it and we'll make fun of it.
We still use a shake weight all
love
the time.
them. Love them.
In slow motion.
Well, Doc, we're going to cut it off right here, and thank you for your time. And I have a feeling we're just going to try to check in with you once or twice here.
I'm going to come
during
down the main
season.
street of Casper and find your practice and stop with
That's right. We're going to come out.
900 adventure bikes on the back of the truck, and we'll come say hello.
Hey, we got plenty of places to ride. Come out and visit. We got a beautiful spot out here. And yeah, you have Jordon Smith coming on. Tell him I said hi. Great guy, great family. And man, third place this weekend. He's looking good.
Awesome.
yeah,
For sure.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Doc. Thank you for your time. And we will see you. I guess John and them will see you first, or we'll see you at a race.
We'll try.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
buddy.
See you, man.
Thanks. I love you.
Oh man, that was close.
That's a long.
We hung
time.
in there for that.
Knowing he had just held it like.
What?
I don't know if I should say it back. I mean, I barely know these guys.
Let me call
What
Jordan
if he's
immediately.
ugly?
Man, he might-
I love you. Send pics.
Yeah, how ugly are you?
know who
Nice
you are.
looking, dude. Before I just love you back.
He's been on the broadcast. He's a good looking guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Do we call him Jordan?
Jordan, you are live on the show. I hope are you in the middle of putting one of your children down or feeding your children? I don't. Okay. Ooh, I know how that is. We try to pay close attention to that stuff. So
It's not coming through.
It's very, very quiet.
Yeah, I can barely tell he's talking.
no, they're having a problem hearing you. I'm hearing you loud and clear. You guys can't hear him at all.
Not at all. I can tell he's talking, but I can't tell what he's saying.
That is bizarre. Like I hear it 1,000%.
Call him right back.
I'm going to call you right back, Jordan, because we're professionals.
That's
See ya.
that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
How is that? I don't know how y'all cannot hear that. Like it's.
I hear you now. Fine.
You hear that?
Hear what? I hear you.
You, yeah. Not,
I could hear you the whole time. I just couldn't hear him.
I could hear a blip, 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 blip. It sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Y'all hear my phone at all
I heard the music just then.
right now?
Why? Not right now. What was that button you just? Why'd you push that red button?
What about now?
No, hit the other one. I
There.
can hear it now. Get it on mute.
That's definitely.
That's so loud. We
I'm
just
learning
blew
some.
somebody's truck speakers.
I'm learning shit. So
sorry, truck driver.
don't
Going
hit the red
right
button,
now.
folks. I mean,
We're
here we
killing
go.
the,
Poor Jake is just dying over here. Like he's button pushing, camera turning
Jake,
on and
don't
off.
hate us because we're dumb.
So we
It's
talked
not
about
our-
all this production. Holy cow!
Oh, great! Somebody's here. The dogs are going to start barking. That's Kevin's.
Yeah,
that's
that's
Kevin's
mine.
ring doorbell. You
We
just
got that
heard.
snoozed.
The
So you
battery.
had Jordan muted.
My camera. The battery.
I
just
did not
quit.
have him muted. I could hear him.
That's the oddest
That
thing.
is so weird, right? I'm gonna call you, John. I'm gonna call you real quick.
Oh, you're calling me.
Yep.
My
Kev-
close-up camera
Guys,
just quit.
I think Kevin's going to call me. Let me see if he's
Y'all can
here.
hear it. All right, we're good.
Is there,
Hey,
a,
Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
is there a Samantha Baker there? If so,
Can I briefly converse?
Hey
with you?
man, if you could turn the music up louder, everybody's gonna. We're gonna have a 20% coupon at Sound Sensations.
I cannot turn
Speaker
it off.
City. There's 6
Jesus.
locations to get free speaker replacement, or at least
Let's give a
20%
warm
discount.
Speaker City welcome. All
I'm afraid I worked this camera too hard down here.
right, here we go.
You burn that thing up, dude.
Quiet on set.
You can't be that hot, Nick. It's your fault. Kevin, throw that crap on the counter, dude. Just
All right, can you hear me now?
Dude, you were fine.
Loud and clear.
And I think everybody else could hear us. This is our guys. I clipped them from being able to hear you. So anyway, I was asking you if we were in the middle of feeding and children. How old are your kids, by the way?
No, I have one kid, a little girl. She just turned 2 in October.
Oh, so the bedtime is critical that you not get in the way of that. Like, so I get that. How long do we have you
Yeah,
for? About
it's-
3 minutes?
In 3 minutes, if we're lucky.
All right, so talk real fast.
It's honestly with the going from west to east. Now she's like wanting to stay up late. You know, I mean, it's just a couple days, but she's still wanting to stay up later, and it's just fine. We're going back to the West Coast, so it's nice if she'll sleep in a little bit longer on race day. This week she was up at about 4 a.m. race day morning.
never
Hey,
even.
so
thought about that.
we've got a jersey we're going to give away. Since you're on the show, we've got one of your number 39 Alias Geico Honda jerseys. We're going to have a little giveaway for that. You don't have to do anything. I'm just letting you know that that's going to happen.
Yeah, we've got it here
Sweet.
in studio.
We already
It's a
have it,
signed
so-
jersey. We're gonna.
We're not saying yes, so if you'll just ship that for us, that'd
No,
be great. None
we
of
don't
that.
need a jersey.
Nope, we're good on that. So
I will.
If you'll
I will.
count the
If you need
entries
to.
for us.
But you'll see it. You'll see it. Yeah, Nick. Just have him count the entries.
Yep, we're gonna-
No, we'll execute it on our end, Jordan. So, but it's pretty cool. It's a Geico Honda jersey. It's cool.
Nice little throwback.
Yeah, throwback.
Crazy Geico Honda team not even here anymore.
That's right.
I would have never thought that play they would have went away. Like they were a powerhouse. They came on strong and gone just like that.
And it's not like Geico
Yeah,
wasn't a
that's great.
strong sponsor.
It's still around. Yes.
Well, hey man, first things
Damn
first.
caveman.
Let's give you the obligatory congratulations. Third place, the first
the first
podium, for Triumph. That had to feel
Yeah.
good to get that out of the way. Now what's next?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Felt good. Felt good to start the season pretty good. And next is just trying to get the win for him, I guess. It's be pretty cool to get the first win for Triumph. I mean, that's
Be
kind of,
awesome.
definitely the goal, and would be, they already have a they said they have a brick like in their headquarters in the UK. They have like a walkway with bricks of like their kind of like Triumph milestones throughout the the years and stuff, and they have a blank brick for the first Supercross win. So it'd be pretty sweet to put the name on that.
Oh yeah, so they're waiting. They've got it ready to go. So hey, let's talk about the bike. You've been on some great equipment in your career, and I know you got to say, "Oh, it's great. It's this, that, and other." I mean, you're a pretty honest guy. Like, tell me where the bike is now versus where when you got on it. Did you throw a leg and go, "All right, I can work with this," or like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" Or did you ride it before you made the deal? How'd that work?
No, I didn't ride it until about a week and a half or 2 weeks after the last SMX. And I went and, I was, didn't really know what to expect. And I rode it right away. And I was like, came back from like literally the first session. I was like, all right, boys, this is actually a lot better than not that I expected it to be terrible, but I'm like, I expected it to be like, be like, yeah, for sure. This needs to be better. This needs to be better. But like overall, like first impressions as I do, it feels pretty good. Like power's good, like handle's good. And yeah, that was on outdoors. And then once I got on the Supercross, like I was pretty uncomfortable at the beginning, just with like the suspension wise chassis, just the way it was set up. I just wasn't super comfortable on it. So we took I would say about a week and a half to 2 weeks to get me to like a pretty good, like solid base on that for Supercross. And then since then, like we really haven't made a lot of like major changes. It's just kind of been like dialing in here, like learn a little there, and just like the little stuff. But overall, like I feel really happy, like really comfortable on it. The track's good, everything. So yeah, I've been pretty pumped with it.
Well, tell me before we get into anything else. I don't mean to interrupt you, John, but like,
No, it's okay.
What gave you the confidence to make the leap to that team on that motorcycle? Basically, an unproven bike. Was it Ricky or all the people in play or Scuba?
Dave Arnold.
Yeah, some of the players in place.
It was that. It was just that, I mean, I have known Scuba for quite a while. Never directly worked with him, but worked somewhat, like while they were at Husky and I was at TLD. Kind of the same deal with Bobby Hewitt. I had known him for quite a while. Obviously, they were both, proven. Sure. They had won championships, all that stuff. Then you have Dave Arnold that designed the bike and is still constantly day to day working on, getting it better. You got Ivan, a test rider who was test riding for PC for years, so he knows what a good bike feels like. And then Drew, suspension guy, I worked with him for about a year and a half before he left Star and went to Triumph. So I had already worked with the suspension guy. And then the head engine developer, Dudley, he was our engine guy whenever I was at TLD. So I knew he knows what he's doing. So like everyone that was involved with it, like I was comfortable with, I knew that they like know what they're doing, that they're not going to put something like bad out there, especially like, because obviously you can have the best guys in place, but if the manufacturer, whatever, doesn't give them the freedom and the resources to do what they need to do, then it might not be good. But talking to everyone, like they're like, no, like it's, like we kind of can do whatever we want to do. So it's not, so corporate where you got to get it passed by, 15, 20 different people before you can get something done. And it takes months to do. It's kind of, hey, do you mind if we do this? And they're like, yeah, go for it. So it's pretty cool.
That is one of the cooler things about a company like Triumph. And I heard from the broadcast that was Nick Bloor, was he there at the race?
He was, yep.
So did you get to meet him and talk to him? And
Yep. He came in after practice. I think it was in between, it might have been in between first and second qualifier or in between the qualifying and night show. I'm not sure. Him and Paul, they're the CEO and the CFO of Triumph globally, and Nick's the owner, and they're awesome, like super nice guys. Would never know that, that they were so high up, but yeah, that was pretty cool to get to meet them, like know that they're there, and it's just something that like you're never gonna get that opportunity in like a lot of the other manufacturers and stuff, just because they're so like such big companies. And not that Triumph isn't a big company, but like they they are a big company, but at the same time, it's still small and like kind of family like atmosphere, you know? So that was pretty cool. And then they actually, I mean, they were stoked after the race. It was pretty cool. I guess that they're not like super like into the racing scene, you know, a lot, you know, like it's not necessarily like his dream to have a pro supercross team, right? It's just like something that they've done and they've built with coming out with the off-road bike and stuff. And so he was pumped on the racing. He enjoyed it, had a blast. They came back to the facility and were there. I think that they actually checked out the facility for the first time yesterday. So it was cool. Yeah, it was nice to get to meet them. And, you know, I mean, literally the owner of the brand that I'm riding for. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think, Nick, you might have mentioned this last week, like, you know, Mr. Kawasaki and nobody like that's ever going to show up at a race. So it's pretty awesome that the guy came and you delivered, got it, put it on the podium. And, you know, I think it's very interesting to meet someone who's got that kind of money. Like, he made enough money in his lifetime to be able to pursue, you know, Triumph.
There's
was
no
always
pressure. He's like, I don't care if you win or not. Let's just put a good product out.
They were always like a niche or a boutique bike.
For sure.
Triumph was always like, had these cool little weird street bikes that were, I mean, iconic, no doubt. And then here they come, and they're going to enter the racing field. And I think, you know, you getting to meet him, like, that's impressive to me, and that you delivered like moments after. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool for sure. And he was just like really cool guy, really nice. Like, you would never know. Like, I mean, he was just like, it was more of like a fan coming in that like didn't really know, you know, like didn't really know a whole lot about the sport, you know, and just asked us questions and stuff. And it was pretty cool because, you know, like even like he's not flying around on a private jet or anything. Like, we were all on the same flight. Like, pretty much the whole team was on the same flight back to Atlanta, and he's in row like 28, middle seat, you know, like
wild.
No status
he's
on
sitting
Delta?
beside some random people that have no idea that, you know, the guy they're sitting next to is a freaking millionaire, I don't know,
Yeah,
like a
maybe
lot of money,
billionaire.
you know. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, he was really nice, really down to earth, and just really, really cool, and wants to see us do good. So it's pretty awesome.
Hey, let's talk about day of, and let's talk about that loud dog.
Hey,
Are we good with that dog?
Can you guys give me 1 second?
Yes.
Hold on. Someone just knocked on our front door.
I hear
and
it.
we're not.
Take the phone.
Here it is.
Let's
I
talk
just
to
seen
him.
It's a dog treat a
Yeah,
coon.
let's see what they want.
He's got the same
Hold on.
dogs we have, man.
Treat a coon back there.
Willis
Hey,
and
if
Wayland.
you guys hear anything, maybe call 911
Yeah, we'll
or
call.
something.
We'll send them over if we have to.
We got your back.
Yeah, we got your back. Hey, but for real, to meet a billionaire, I think we looked up Nick's net worth, you know, whatever, when we did that Triumph intro at Freewheeling.
Substantial.
It's
yeah.
very substantial. And, you know, he's a home builder. And it's like, man, he saved Triumph from the depths of bankruptcy, whatever year that was. I can't remember. And then just all of a sudden, I can't help but think, is Suzuki being so stagnant why Ducati and Triumph feel like there might be a little market position right here, because Suzuki's not playing seriously. So I often wonder that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even like, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got
Yep.
you. We were just filling the gap.
We're glad you're still alive. Nobody killed you at the door.
Yeah. There wasn't anyone there. I don't know. Maybe someone deemed unmatched me. I don't know. But no, yeah, it's, I mean, I think like even right now is like kind of an interesting time for them to be coming into the racing and everything, with, you know, with KTM kind of being a question mark. Like, I mean, it seems like they're doing okay, you know, but at the same time, it's a big question mark. So it's kind of an interesting time, and I think a time that Triumph can kind of take advantage of that stuff and come out with something cool. And I think that, you know, getting a couple hole shots this weekend and putting it on the podium, I think kind of shows people that it's a good motorcycle. I mean, it's like I said, I was very impressed, very surprised by how good it was right away. And we have so much more good stuff coming for it that, I mean, it's a good dirt bike. So hopefully people get on board and buy them and stuff. And it turns into one of these huge brands. That's cool.
Yeah, we were able to go down to two Triumph's headquarters here in Atlanta, and
By the airport. Yeah.
by the airport, talked to Rod Lepuznak, and
Yep.
I was surprised when your bike rolled out this year to just see how much of that high vis yellow, with your gear, everything looked really good. I was just surprised at the amount of yellow on there. Is that just the production bike for 25 and I haven't seen it yet, or was that something that just kind of your team's look that's going to be the Triumph factory look?
I'm really not sure. I don't know. That would be a question for someone above my pay grade.
Well, it was dialed. It was absolutely dialed with the kit you were wearing.
Yeah, it looks good. I know that they were kind of waiting to unveil that for a little while. We were kind of posting in black and white to wait to kind of show the colors and stuff. So, it looked good. I think that the FXR gear looks really good with they already had that kind of high vis yellow color. I think that it looks good on the bike and goes good with it. So that look was pretty sweet. I think that we're going to be switching up the gear stuff. Like we're not going to wear the same stuff every week. So it'd be kind of cool to see what you can pair with it and make it look cool.
Well, that the people that you kind of mentioned, I mean, I guess just like in business, you're doing business with people. You're not necessarily, if you make a deal with someone, it's because you believe in the people, not necessarily the product. But how cool that the product actually came with it, because to hear you get on a I guess maybe it's a second gen, because last year was kind of the first year of the bike, and all of a sudden, you're happy with the motor. You're able to get right to the front. I don't know that every motorcycle just comes out of the box.
You can ask Honda about that right now. They've been making them for 50 years. I think that when you make changes, I'm sure you're like, oh my God, here we go.
Yeah, is it going to do?
How do you feel about changes when they do make them? You're like, damn, this thing was really good last year. Like, why did we change it? I guess it accommodates other things.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on a lot of teams that actually, it's funny, I've talked to a lot of people about this, but I've been on a lot of teams that they come out with a new bike and I hate the new chassis, at first. And it seems like if you give it a couple years, it normally gets figured out, but sometimes it kind of takes them a long time. And even whenever I was on Geico as an amateur, whenever I first went there, I think it was the 2012 and maybe the 2013 250 was unbelievable. I'd always handled really good, felt good, rode good. And then they came out, I think it was in 2014 they went back to the dual exhaust. Yeah. And I hated that bike. I just could never get comfortable with it. Just the balance of it, didn't like it. So then I ended up going to TLD and riding the KTM. And in 17 and 18, I loved that chassis, loved everything about it. We were in 18, we were struggling. We lost our suspension guy from 17, and we were struggling a little bit with suspension, but still felt good. And then the 2019 came out, and I hated that chassis. We could not get that thing. We actually, Shane McElrath and I actually ran the 2018 chassis with 2019 plastics bolted up to it.
Oh, wow.
In 2019 for Supercross. Then they went to I didn't race outdoors, but they went to the 19 frame for outdoors. And then I go to PC and we actually ran the 19 bike in 20 because Mitch just I think we couldn't get the power out of the new 20 that came out. And then I liked the 19 a lot. And then we went to the 21.
He's like McGrath. He never gets the new
came
bike.
out. Yeah, and then we get to the 21, and it was I was feeling so good on the 19. And the second I got on the 21, I just did not like the way it cornered. I was just really struggling with front end traction, tucking the front a lot. Ended up crashing and getting hurt on it. And I mean, it's just they always end up getting it figured out, but it's it can be scary sometimes.
I mean, that's a year of your career. That's a chunk of a 2-year contract. All right, we got this thing sorted out. Now go get it. Your final year, no contract, no pressure, no worries.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
Hey,
so
tell me about a day of being day of and qualifying. Take me through the qualifying process. And I love that. To me, they've gotten this thing sorted out where it's really fun to watch you guys during daytime just going after that fast lap award. I know you guys are looking at it, checking it out. Some people might pay a little more attention than others. How do you handle that?
Yeah, so I'm someone that doesn't really I try my hardest to get a good lap, but I'm typically not a great one lap guy in practice, and I try to focus a little bit more of my time on putting in multiple laps and getting more ready for the night show, because it really doesn't matter if you qualify first or you qualify 10th, like if you go out and win the main that night, or whatever, if you qualify first and you get 10th in the main, the first qualifying does nothing for you. So I try to just put in as many laps as I can to get ready for the night show.
Hey, hold on, Jordan. You just
and
crashed.
then,
You just crashed in the main event. You're back up though. You're good.
You're still.
That
We're
damn-
good.
We're
Yeah.
just watching you ride.
Yeah, we were literally just watching that. I just want to let you know you did crash.
What you leaned in on that bail
yeah.
and it pulled your clutch lever in? Is that
Yeah,
kind of
well, actually, that's what I thought. But watching it back, you can see there's like a clod of dirt that
Hey.
pops up after I go through there.
Yep, we're gonna watch it
And,
right now. You're going in. Oh,
yeah.
There it is.
damn
Oh, I
it.
see the clod of dirt.
March
Yeah.
paint goes right
Yeah,
by
and
you.
it wasn't there before I came in, so I think there was a mark on my swing arm, a big like gash taken out my swing arm. So I think it hit my swing arm and kicked my rear tire out, and that's kind of why.
Yeah,
I
it looks
caught
like
the
a
bail.
big rock
All
with
right,
a bunch of dirt around
So
it.
now you're in 6. Are you in panic mode? I know you're going to say no, but I'm like, come on, man. Your heart rate has to go up. You're like, oh shit, man. I was doing so good.
Yeah. Not too bad. I mean, a little bit right away, but then I feel like the first few turns after you get up, you can kind of figure out like if you're out of rhythm or if you're still okay, and I got back in rhythm pretty quick. I actually think that my next lap after I fell was my best lap of the race. So
that's awesome.
I actually got back in rhythm pretty good, felt good, and was just focused on going forward.
Yeah, because sometimes you tip over like that and it wrecks everything. You feel like you've never ridden a motorcycle,
Right,
right? Does
right.
that still happen
Yep.
to a top pro?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's more so like, not always, but I would say like you feel like that more on a really rutted track, because you start like the track this weekend was pretty straightforward lines, so you didn't really have to like think a whole lot about line choice. It was more about just hitting the marks of the lines. So it's kind of a little bit easier, I'd say, to get back into a rhythm whenever it's like that. Whenever you like say you crash like an Indy or something like that, and like you really have to focus, like it can be really easy to get out of rhythm then.
What is your stance on riding without a visor? I'm seeing Hayden right here right now. My stance is I'm pulling off. I already look like a dork. but like, is it hard to look
Kevin's
cool?
pulling off.
Like whipping it and trying to look cool? Nope, you look like a dork. No disrespect. You're a badass. I get it, but
Dude, I think I spent my whole 50 and 65 career riding with no visor.
No
Not by
visor.
Like
choice.
Metzger
but
look.
I
Yeah.
would. I was wearing a moose helmet, dude, and that thing every time. If you just got roosted too hard, it'd blow the visor off of that thing.
But I'm seeing like Deegan, like doing his normal Deegan stuff, and man, it just looks
Does not look
27% less cool, like without the
Yeah,
visor.
I find myself, I'm just fascinated and locked in on the visor. I can't even watch him ride.
Right,
You
I
know,
can't
you're
even tell it. But we're watching you now, Jordan. You're looks like you're just a few seconds behind DeFrancisco. I mean, geez, man, this is 7. We got 7 minutes to go, and you're in 6th place.
Yeah, so you really came on.
Yeah. I felt once I got up, I was like, well, there goes the podium, and then I got going, and I would say like a lap and a half after I got going, I kind of realized that the kind of the 3 in front of me were bunching up. It was Garrett, Cody, and Ryder.
Yep.
And I could tell that they were kind of bunching up a little bit. And I caught them a decent amount that like first lap after I got up. And I was like, okay, like, my fitness has been really, really good this off season, training with Brownie and everything, and my base that I built from last year. And I was like, okay, like I know I can catch these guys. Like these guys are going to start getting a little bit tired at the end, not much, but I can keep pushing. And so like after like a lap or so, I was like, I do think that I can come back to a podium. And then Garrett fell, and then after he fell, I was like, then I only had Cody and Ryder in front of me, and I was like, I know I can get these guys. So there wasn't too much panic, but definitely I wanted to try and get back to that podium spot for sure.
Hey, I want to talk setup real quick, Jordan. Are you a rear end high or a kind of a balanced? Just watching you on the track, it looks like you're looks like the bike's a little higher maybe than what it was on the Star. Is that accurate? Or is that? Am I just seeing something?
No. It kind of looks like that. I will say that we have been going a little bit lower in the rear than we even were this week. We actually tested some stuff and stuff this week, trying to get the rear end to settle down a little bit. So it's kind of helped me in the whoops. But overall, like I like to steer with the rear wheel. And I like to have it a little bit lower. If it's too high, then it starts spinning too much for me. But the setup nowadays for Supercross is rear end high. Like that's kind of how the majority of suspension guys and stuff like that, like they want it like a really high sag and the rear a little bit higher. They feel like it works better there. But for me, I like it to be a little bit lower, ride a little lower in the stroke.
Hey, what about the 450 class? I mean, just from a fan's perspective, did you get? I'm sure you've watched that race. I would assume like no questions really answered, man. I feel like we're going to round 2 like it's anybody's race.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we answered that Chase is good, right? He's
good.
Really good.
He's very good.
I think that Eli's back. I think he is back to his 2023 form, in my opinion. He rode really good. Obviously, he got 5th, but I mean, coming from last to 5th in that class is pretty unbelievable. So, yeah, a lot of question marks around Jet. It's going to be a good season. I think that Eli's back, but also, you know, those guys have kind of risen to that level a little bit more as far as Chase and Jet go, and maybe even surpassed that level of him in 2023. I don't know. He was pretty good that year, but it's going to be interesting to see how quick Jet and those guys at Honda can get the bike figured out and get him back up front. But yeah, we'll see.
What about the tracks and the amount of change we've seen in the sport? Like it's been Supercross, it's been motocross, 2 different championships, blah blah blah. Now they're trying to get creative with the SMX stuff and combining all the stuff. Like you're going through a lot of change, man. Are you into it, or are you just kind of rolling with the dough? I mean, probably enjoying making a paycheck. The dough,
Rolling with the dough.
Yeah, I definitely am into getting the extra money at the end of the year. That's nice. But I mean, I like it. I think it's pretty fun. I think that, I don't know. It's hard to like sit here and be like, yeah, they need to do this or that. But like, I think that it needs to have a little bit more Supercross into the tracks.
For the SMX
I think
rounds?
that they try to, into the SMX rounds. I'm saying they try to put the outdoor stuff, but the way it's set up, and you know, it's artificial dirt. It's not like a actual outdoor dirt where it's just
soil.
endless. Like, yeah, it's they're bringing that dirt in, so they can't really till it that deep, you know? So it's like us going to our local, you know, track and riding the outdoor track there. Like it's smooth and we all go wide open, you know, like we all go fast in this outdoor section. So it makes it really hard to pass. It makes for good racing a lot of times, or close racing, I guess you could say. So, I mean, personally, I would like to see a little bit more Supercross stuff. I'm excited to see what they do with the St. Louis SMX round in the dome. They had mentioned that maybe going into where the pits normally are.
Congress Center
Park. So that would be pretty cool. Hopefully they get better lighting in there, because the lighting in those pits is like yellow. So I don't know how that's going to work. But
I will say this: our sport is no different. If you kind of go back and look at it from 1,000 feet, basketball has an in-season tournament. Baseball's changed their rules. We've shortened the games. NFL's changing their kickoff rules. The TGL, I mean, dude, I know you're a big golf guy. Tell me, have you watched any of that? Did you watch any of that last night on ESPN?
I didn't watch it last night. I watched a little bit of the first one, and I saw a lot of highlights and stuff from last night. But it looks fun to watch. It actually looks like, I don't know. I mean, I heard that they're like paying people to go to the stands for those things. But I mean, I would like to go to one and watch it in person.
Yeah, if I was in town, I'd go check it out. Whatever, have some cocktails, watch it or whatever.
Yep.
I'm pretty interested in just the technology behind it. Looks pretty cool. The simulators and how they adjust the green. It's moving, and that blows my mind. I don't even understand that.
Right?
That is crazy. That is crazy. I heard that last night. It seemed like they were having some like misreadings on the simulator a little bit. So I think that, I mean, that's just one thing. Even, you know, you go to anywhere. I've been to multiple, you know, simulator places, and it's always hard to have super accurate readings with every single shot on the simulator, you know?
Hey,
I think that's going to be like,
we got a minute to go here. A minute 15, not me. I'm just saying in this race. So we've got D Francisco right in front of you. You're 2 bike lengths back
for
now.
sure.
You're setting him up.
You're getting close.
Yep. I could see like just a slight change in his riding style. He started C-bouncing a couple things, and I was like, okay, like my mechanic gave me 2 to go, and I was like, all right, I really want to try and make this pass on this. Like, I don't want to wait till the last lap, because if you make one mistake, like
Yeah.
my passing area is like pretty much the whoops, like 99% of the time.
Yep.
And I'm like, if I mess up right before that or something, like I want to try to get in this lap. And so I got like pretty close after the whoops there,
There you go.
and got him right there after the start straight. So yeah,
timing
it was,
is perfect.
he
You're saying this
You're
right
taking
when
it
it's
right as-
happening.
Doing play-by-play blindfolded.
Yeah, you're side by side with him.
So when you saw him seat bouncing, are you thinking, man, he's tired?
Yep.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, normally, like, later on in the race, if you see someone kind of seat bouncing a couple things that, maybe they wouldn't be on whenever they're pushing a little bit harder. And then he seat bounced that triple, and I kind of saw that coming like last second, and I was like, well, here's my chance, because that triple face was so steep. Like whenever he seat bounced it, he lost a lot of time there, and I was able just to go up the inside, and the pass itself wasn't too bad, but maneuvering through the ruts after it was
that looked like an enduro.
Yeah, you went all the way up the side of the berm, right?
What about those big giant
rode like
ruts? You
5
ruts.
Hey, Jordan, I gotta,
that was tough.
yeah. Hey, I gotta ask, man. So you're getting deeper into your career, and each year you get these new up and coming kids, and how is it? You got to match this. They talk about the 250 class is just so, but it's a pack of hyenas, and
Right.
How is that preparing? Every year for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What's it like preparing to race a bunch of crazies, right? Because some people are. Some of them are young.
It's definitely different. Like you have to like whenever I train, like I try to make like, unless we are like doing a dedicated like section with technique or like dedicated moto, like where we're like say not using the rear brake or something, like other than that, like I try to make every single lap that I do like as hard as I can go almost, like really like a lot of intensity, because that's really how you have to race. Like these guys are, even in the heat race, like Juju and Ryder were right behind me, and like they were all over me, and like I felt like I was riding good, but they just had like a little bit more intensity in a couple areas, and like that's just how you have to race. The races are pretty short. These guys, you can hear it in even like Juju's like interviews and the post race press conference. Like he has a lot of confidence. Like he's like believes that he can be up there and be battling for a championship, and that's what it takes, is that belief. So it's you have to try to use the experience that I've gotten over the last 10 years to try to be smarter and a little bit more racecraft and stuff like that. But it's fun though. It keeps me young.
Oh, for sure.
You were talking about him getting a little bit tired at the end of the race or something. You guys train in your 10 years. Have you seen a difference, like not only in your conditioning, but like everybody's condition? Like now it seems like you guys can go out there and hammer for 15 minutes plus 2 laps, like almost a sprint. You remember back in the day, it was, we're going to go sprint this lap, but you guys are sprinting.
It seems like it's a full sprint.
Yeah,
you're
you're sprinting the whole time now. Like if people are, you're talking about training. Do you train? Does Brownie train you, or you're just training with him, or?
Yeah. Brownie's our team trainer, so he trains all of us. And we do bike rides and stuff with him. He does the gym. He doesn't really ride a whole lot or anything. He'll do the bike rides with us. But like over the years, like I do remember, like I've always been a hard worker and been in pretty good shape. And like I would say, like on like say my Geico years, like on 250, I got arm pump pretty bad. Like in a lot of the first motos, like outdoors. But in like the second moto, like I would be pretty good and could push the whole time. And like if you were still pushing hard after 20 minutes of Moto 2, like most of the guys like were getting tired and slowing down. Like this year, whenever I raced outdoors all season, like no one ever got tired. Like you never were like up in the top 10 and like just catching guys at the end, like everyone is still going so fast. And it's definitely, the intensity's just gotten so high, and every single person is on such a good training program, and everyone trains hard. And, like it's pretty much like all we do now is just just train and ride, and like everything is dedicated to it. And I mean, that's just how I think every sport's going that way, right? Like you see every sport, like they're all more in tune with their body and everything, and people are playing sports longer, and people are riding dirt bikes longer now and stuff. So I think the recovery and everything's gotten better, and it's just like, yeah, it's like you said, it's just went to another level of like, you have to be going as fast as you can, because if you're not going forward, you're going backwards.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear. Like I'm almost glad to hear you say that. But when you talk about riding longer, being in that kind of shape is also safer for you. You know what I mean? Like part of the reason you're going strong at 10 years is because if you're in good enough shape, you're not getting tired, you're not getting hurt. You're in more control because you're at the end of those races. You're in better shape, or everybody's in. Not even better. I don't even like to call it better shape, because that sounds like somebody that got in shape. I mean, you guys are phenomenal now, but by comparison, that's insane.
For sure. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, even like I've always worked hard, but like after 2019, like in 2020, 2021, 2022, like I got pretty tired in motos, like even supercross motos, and like I was really good on a road bike. Like I was, doing everything that I needed to do, but it was just the fact of like, I didn't ride a dirt bike that much in those years. Like I was hurt all the time. So when I was riding, I was like holding my breath and holding on way tighter. And, like nothing was coming easy to me as far as like doing the jumps and the rhythms and the turns and like everything. I was always nervous, and over the past, like since I kind of have had a decently healthy stretch since I got on Firepower, like my base has just gotten to like a whole nother level of like where now, I mean, there's times in the off season, like in motos this year, that like I remember one day in particular, like we did a 20 lapper, a 15 lapper, a 10 lapper, and then 2 5-lappers. And like, wow. I think that I could have, like, I really truly felt like I could have came off of the 20 lapper, gassed up, and went back out for my 15 lapper, and then gassed up, and then did, like I just feel like I have such a good base that like I can just keep going. And it's a feeling that I haven't had like throughout my career, just because I've had so many injuries and stuff. And like that, just like especially last year doing I think we had 24 rounds in the 250 class, and like doing every single moto in outdoors, like that just gets I don't think I missed one day of training all year last year.
That's
Supercross
amazing.
and motocross. I made every single day of training. Like I don't think I was even missed a day for being sick or anything. I did every single bike ride, every single gym workout, every single moto on the track, like every single thing I did. And it really shows this year in my fitness and my riding and stuff like that. So I think that it's only going to keep getting better throughout the year, and that hopefully that base kind of carries me through the season.
We had Wardy on, and he talked about there was a record. I think Wygant told me to ask him, what was it? How many days?
93 days.
So Jeff Ward, during one of his Supercross outdoor and everything seasons, trained, either raced or rode a motorcycle on a dirt bike 93 straight days. He would fly straight home and get a moto.
Some days he would ride the same day he was flying.
Yeah, he'd fly and go straight
That's
home.
insane.
So yeah,
that's insane.
You talk about a base, and you talk about the injuries, and I'm sure, and you can talk about it because I just told you to talk about it 4 times in that same sentence.
Right. Let's talk about this.
But when you have all these injuries, you crash and you got to start from scratch, and you override, then you crash again, you get bummed out. Like, tell me, dude, you had to have went through that shit. I mean, it sounds like you did it for years.
Yeah, I did. I mean, that it's so tough whenever you do that. Like every time you get on the bike, like, I mean, our mentalities are that we're like there to win, right? And like we know that, like, we believe in our minds that we can beat anyone on the gate, and so that's what you expect whenever you go to a race. But it's not always like can you? Yeah, like even in 2022, whenever I was on 2021, whenever I was on PC, like, I did not have a good off season at all. Like I was coming back from an ACL tear the year before, And the year before that, I had like missed the entire outdoor season, and I think I only did 3 rounds of Supercross. So I missed almost the whole year in 2019 as well with a wrist injury. And so, I mean, and here we are, 19 and 2020. I had only done like 7 races, I think, in those 2 years, and then came into 2021, and it was my final year on PC. And I actually had started riding pretty good in the off season. And then that's whenever we got the new bike on PC that I just like did not gel with. And I was falling every day. Like I would just not like major falls, but I would just like tuck the front or something every single day. And then I ended up falling and I hurt my thumb. Same injury that like Eli and all those guys, Coop, all those guys got last year. The UCL tear in your thumb. So I did that. And then I got surgery on it, and I think I got surgery. I don't remember exactly, but it was like maybe 7 weeks before the first East Coast round, something like that. And so I'm pushing to get back on the bike. I mean, it's my last year of my deal. I've barely even raced for PC. I barely even rode a dirt bike for PC at this point, and stuff. And, and so I get back on the bike. My thumb's hurting, like not good. I can barely ride a full day. Mitch is not happy with me. I went to the one day I went and did starts, and I'm like, dude, my thumb is so sore. Like I can't even do starts. And so then I ended up, just doing some rehab and stuff, getting it feeling good enough to go racing, but like I was not ready to go racing. Right. I did not have enough time on the bike. I did not feel comfortable. My fitness wasn't good. I went to the first round, and probably not a great thing. I got a really good start. I think I came out second behind Jacob and was running second for, I don't know, a few laps, ended up crashing the whoops hard. So then recover from that. I mean, was really sore from that crash, recover from that, and then go to the next round. And I can't remember. That was whenever we were doing the residencies in different cities. Oh, yeah. I think we did the next one, I think was Daytona. We only did one there. But I took a foot peg to the butt there and ripped.
You did take
not my butthole, but very, very close. Had to get stitches. My tailbone was so bruised up. So I barely made it through that main event. Don't really know how I made it through. I think the only way I made it through was that they gave me enough numbing stuff whenever they gave me the stitches that I didn't really feel anything, And so then we go to Arlington, and the first race there, I got a really good start again, and I was actually leading, I think, and then I made a little mistake, went back to second behind Hammaker, and had a big crash, hit my chest. It didn't I finished the main, but I was 3 laps down or something, and but I'm riding good enough whenever I'm up there to be up there, right? But stuff's coming at you so fast, and you don't know how the bike's going to react, and your eyes aren't keeping up with the lines that you're trying to take and this stuff, and it's just recipe for not a good ending, and I think one of the biggest blessings in disguise for me was losing my PC ride. I think if I would have got another year on PC, I think that it would have been just another year of the same stuff, and who knows what would have happened after that, Maybe not, I could be wrong, but whenever I went to Firepower, I had no pressure. No one was expecting me to win, no one was talking about me, nothing. We were riding on a stock bike on Supercross, stock engine. I mean, I was even the Star guys would come and ride with us at MTF, and I was on a stock Honda with a stock exhaust doing starts with them for a little while. So I just had no pressure. Against the Star bike. And so it's I was able to just do my thing and get comfortable riding a dirt bike again. And then I got the Star ride after that, and I rode all the entire summer. I trained with them on outdoors, but I never did a race. Yep. And they didn't want me to. Bobby did not want me to race outdoors. He just wanted me to ride, and that was one of the best things I could do was just get the seat time. I put a lot of hours on a bike. I probably put more hours on a dirt bike that summer than I put in from 2019 to 2022. It's crazy. But It was a rebuild, that's for sure.
Nearly tearing your butthole out is a traumatic injury that takes. I'm sure
Yeah.
it took a lot of
mental
fortitude to get through
therapy.
Yeah, therapy.
We got the Sackadoo deal. You got your butthole. Like,
Yeah,
it's been a
I mean,
wild few
Yep.
years.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, that's people underestimate that stuff. Is hard to come back from.
Yeah, I don't know how you come back from that high res 4K zoomed in videos of his junk. That'd be hard to come back from. I mean, if you got something you're proud of, it's not as bad. Like if it would have been not impressive.
Luckily it was. Luckily he was okay.
He was good with he's like that pole vaulter from France. He's all right.
Yeah, luckily it probably helped him out. Me, I would have been like, I knew he was a woman.
Oh, man. Well, we don't want to hold you up anymore, man. You've given us 40 minutes of your time. We went a little beyond whatever. Thanks for the race call. Like you were literally calling it. We had
Yeah,
you,
it was perfect.
I pulled the main up and we're like, all right, we're starting, and you were blow by blow doing your thing. So
It was
that-
like you were
I could
watching
see
it with
us. I could see our screen.
That's right.
Yeah, you would
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I think
FaceTime.
so. Well, all right, dude. We
Yep.
look forward to seeing you. We'll be. I know we'll see you at Daytona, and if not before.
And we're close to you. So
Yeah, we're only 2 hours from you, honestly, from your facility. So we've talked to Zach about maybe zipping down there and just checking you guys out, staying out of the way. But we just want to see what a day in the life at Triumph looks like.
yeah.
Heck yeah, I should have came in and did a in studio interview. That'd have been sweet.
Literally,
Really?
we can come down there. We can set our little stuff up. We can cruise down as well. So,
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
absolutely.
Nice.
well, dude, thanks so much, man. And tell Styles we said hello. I love that kid too. Jalik's cool. You got a cool little squad over there. Can't wait to see Austin get to it, man. I think you got one of the more vibier, fun crews to be around. I have to think.
Yeah, no, I tell you, like, honestly, and like I've had so much fun this off season. Like, this is the most fun like I've ever had. Like. Riding my dirt bike. I just, I mean, I've been doing it a long time. Like even before I was pro, like I went to MTF at a young age, and
Yes,
it's
you
like, it's a grind and stuff. And like I would say, the earlier years of my career, didn't enjoy it as much, but the later I get, the more I'm enjoying it, and I had a blast this off season. So yeah, it's good. It's a fun team to be around.
Well, dude, it's paying off. Sounds like right place, right time. Phoenix Firepower Honda was the right place to be. So good for you, man. Go have some fun this
Yeah,
weekend.
that's good.
We'll be pulling for you.
for sure.
Yep.
All
Cool.
right.
Thank
Keep
you guys for
everything
having
in
me
your
on.
pants.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Take
All
care,
right.
take care of your
Will do.
butthole.
Let me go see if we got any intruders in the house.
There you go. Turn that dog loose. All right, buddy. See you, Jordan.
All
All
right.
right. Thanks, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
We love
Bye.
you.
Man, good stuff.
Yeah. He's a good kid, man. That was awesome. I mean, kid, he's older than Kyle,
It's
but
28.
he's, yeah.
I wonder if they bring him in as the crafty veteran for that clubhouse presence. You know how they do it in football and baseball? They're like,
to mentor the younger
yeah, we're going
guys.
to bring
right?
Jadon Smith in there or whatever.
Yeah. He's like
28.
Crash in Bull Durham.
That's right.
He just brings him in.
Calms down the pitchers or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Oh, noosh.
Yeah.
good stuff, man. I'm good with just shutting this thing down if you guys are, man. John's in hospice right now. I don't think he's going to make
Yeah.
it. He's got he's got the croup, RSVP. I don't know what.
Oh, nice.
No, I'm over.
Polio.
It's just the leftovers.
Yeah.
It's leftover.
Slinging out brain matter at this point.
Yep.
Oh, you want to read this fortune?
Well, it's just mainly Kevin. He likes to eat Chinese food during the week, and he likes to save his fortunes.
Let's see what this.
Now you have to do this in your.
Yeah, my.
your
Oh,
voice.
he's angry.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a fortune cookie now. So, Kevin.
Here we go. Hold on.
He loves the
Two of them.
sounds.
That's ASMR right there.
There's a flake on your shirt right there. Get you flakes.
Not impressed. Okay. Invest time and thought in all that you pursue.
Hey,
Hey!
man, that's fair.
That's good.
Gong that shit.
Yeah, dog.
Damn.
Don't be not gonging
I
it.
was so impressed.
He invested nothing in that bit.
I mean,
Okay, you got another one. Read it. I'm on point this time. Right? Ready?
where is it?
there's flakes on your
I
belly.
don't have another one. That's it.
No, it's just a piece of the
Oh.
cookie.
I thought you got 2 for 1 deal.
No, I thought I did too.
Make
I'll
something
never
up.
make it.
All right, so we're going to shut this thing down. Thank you to Jake Fricker for coming out. Thanks to Smokeshowmx, is that right? For hooking up the Jordon Smith jersey. Jason at Smoke Show. We will.
Alan Oates for this jersey.
Alan Utz for that. And yeah, man, we got our Great Escape race coming up. That's all charity coming up October 17th, 18th, and 19th. Same place. Hopefully more of you guys will come check it out this year. And it's they're gonna feature the story that Heather wrote for us in the AMA, American Motorcycle
Yeah, I meant to
Association
ask you. That's
magazine.
definitely getting published in the
Yeah, they've already
AMA.
reached out to her asking to use the photos and all that stuff. So.
And talking about our YouTube as well, we got some stuff coming up, A Day in the Dirt, and some other stuff that's Day in the Dirt down south.
I think it may be a little more interesting to watch our YouTube once you get some more content.
Yeah,
So it's
we're gonna have some stuff on YouTube for you guys to check out because we're gonna do like some shorts shows on that stuff. You know, this
Little song and dance.
little song and dance, a little bit to show you guys what's going on over there for you guys that are not going. Yeah, this is going to be there's going to be a ton of people there from here this year.
Heck, you mentioned Alan Utz. He's going.
He's going.
He signed up.
Barry
Yeah.
Higgins, we're going to make that guy go.
Frank's going to be. Frank
Kyle's
Mann's
gonna go, Frank Mann.
Kyle's going. I mean, we're going
Get
to
your squad together. Like, get your squad. Get your dudes. Get them all
We're going to
parked
have
up
a
together.
huge squad down there this year. Like the camper karaoke scene is going to have to move outdoors. It's
We're
going
going to build them. Okay, we'll go
We
outdoors.
got to get it. We got to have to get a blow up nightclub.
Yeah.
I will go in. I will go
Time
in
to pull the trigger.
on that. I'll actually invest in a blow up nightclub.
How heavy do you think that is?
It can't be that heavy. It's a blow.
Oh,
Like
I
one of them
think-
fun houses.
Not
you do.
even that,
Heavy
but
is
it's a
yeah.
lightweight. It's not
I mean,
that
how
super.
many? You
You're not
think it's
bouncing on
probably
it.
Oh,
about?
okay.
100
That's what
pounds?
I'm. That's
It's
what
that
I'm.
light-
150 pounds.
I think
Oh.
it's more of a blow up, like
More
a
of
Christmassy
yes,
thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like,
I bet it's
dude,
100 pounds from out.
If it's like one of those jumpies, like we are screwed. That's
so, if you
probably
come there
600
and you
pounds.
see
Oh, you can't-
a blow up nightclub,
Yeah, it's not going to be the bouncy where you try
I
to
pictured,
walk
you know how
around
heavy those
drinking.
things are.
that would be even better. Those are like
That'd
$5
actually
grand.
be kind of cool. Yeah.
Blow up nightclub.
Yeah.
I like that. Hey, we're also 5 days away from. I know you guys may not love this, but 5 days away from the announcement of the women's motocross donations team,
That's
which is
We do love that.
We're gonna have
the
Chris.
ocean. Yeah, because every time y'all are always y'all
Don't
are
put that
mid-
negativity on. Don't bring that evil on us,
Oh,
Bobby.
man, we're here
No,
for it.
I know I'm joking, but they're about to release the team, and that's going to be in Australia, coming up at the end of March. Cool.
To be clear,
Kev, you
we're
see-
not going to Australia.
You see all these girls, right? Loretta's and all that. Do we have a? I mean, do we have a solid group of girls to choose
We've
from
got
to go? I mean,
we've got some. I feel like what's her name, Lala Turner.
yeah.
I have to remember she's a girl. When she's in a B class, I'm like, oh, it's Lala Turner. I'm like, is that Lux? Because Lux is racing Supercross, and then her
I think her name's Lachlan or something.
Lachlan, and then Lala is what they call her, and then you got Lux, her brother, and they moved from Vegas. I think they moved to Florida or South Georgia. She was asking. Her mom's a real estate agent. She goes, "I'm moving. We're coming here. We're going to race." And damn, I think it's on the AEO team. Kid was in. I think it was in the last chance qualifier. Anyway, Lala rips,
Yes,
man.
actually, for
frighteningly
real.
good.
Yeah, Lux Turner.
Lux
he made
was
the main.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He
made
was.
the
He
main.
was. That's what I thought, man. He's doing it.
Like
So
14th or something like that. Yeah,
props
solid.
to him. Props to
solid.
him. And I want to start, and I didn't do it last year. I want to, and it'll be a collective thing. But if y'all can help me, if it's your first time ever making a main event, you deserve a spot on our show. Every time you make a main for your first
Heck,
time,
anybody that we would always say, man, if you made the night show, you're a bad dude. But if you made the main,
oh dude, it's
you
tough.
are special.
You are very special. So if it's I want to keep up with that. I talked to Clint Fowler about that. I'm like, can you help me out with keeping up with that? Because I think it's a cool let's shine a light on those dudes for their first time. What a great accomplishment that is. You'll go your whole damn career
Well, there's some
and be
people
a
who
good
are
rider
known,
and never make it.
Yes, I was going to say there's people who are known. This guy's he's making it no matter what. But there's also guys who like
Kyle Wise, I'll use that guy
Sure.
as for example. Kyle Wise, his dad is the chief of Modesto Fire. You've probably met him because he's friends with Acuna's. They hang out side by side. I don't think they were there this year, but I know he was there when you were there. His dad, they've been chasing the dream, and he's got him on a Yamaha. I think he's on an EBR, some sort of a Yamaha deal, and he's that close. He was in last year. I watched out because I texted Dad. I'm like, dude, he was in, and they had a red flag, and he was in again, and he got caught up in the second crash, and the red flag was like, oh. So anyway, there's always that story. Everybody
it's
has
always
crazy little stories,
milliseconds, right?
Yep.
Like he
Yep.
almost made it.
Yep. And our buddy Ryan Cunha, his son Dylan's chasing the dream, doing some supercrosses. I saw him trying to qualify. So Austin Kozad, I'm here
Gage
for it,
Line
man.
Boy, there's a lot of
Gage
guys.
Lynn
yeah.
Bill. Now
Yeah.
Gage,
And Gage
rode his
last
ass off
year-
at Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville,
Bro.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
Solid.
Love watching that kid.
Yeah, can't wait for it to go east and see how he does.
Yeah, man. So we'll try to highlight. I'll try to keep up with that. And if you guys want to help me, if you notice a guy
Yeah.
that we know has not made it in, and we can look that up and kind of be a little more official about it, I think that'd be cool to give them dudes some love because that man, it's no easy feat
No.
at all. So
And it's be interesting to talk to somebody too because
your first time,
Kyle, you rode some Supercross qualifiers. I mean, can you imagine if you'd made it? Like what your nerves would have done if you were in the main event? Like,
Heck, you might
Oh,
just
yeah.
relax if you made
the
it.
pressure's off. It's like making it the regional versus
The regional
Loretta's.
is hell.
Loretta's is not as stressful as
Right.
the regional.
Yeah, the
For sure.
regional, that thing's brutal.
Oh, I could
dude.
imagine.
No, you can imagine because you went there multiple times.
yeah,
You raced Loretta's. So
imagine all this. Cue the music, Kev.
I'm doing it. This is it. This is so funky. This song is. I'm
Man, this
so
junk
tempted
is
to take this song
funky.
and make it our lead in. This thing is so.
you
vibrant.
wanted to change it up.
I did.
We need to AI words to this song. Have it
Probably do.
put on
Like
top of
Nick's
this
in a
music.
Honda Jersey, so is Kev.
not so
thinking
quick.
of a master plan.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
Something
like.
like that.
There you go.
Ain't nothing but dirt.
Welcome to the
inside my
stage.
hand.
Ain't
Here we
nothing
go.
but a Jeep thing, baby.
No, give us that. Welcome to the stage, Speaker City. No, what's that voice?
Let's give a warm Speaker City welcome. Nah, that's it, man. Winners,
Perfect.
thank y'all for listening. That's it. Great job, Nick. You look
Love
good.
y'all.
Yeah, Nick, you look good, buddy.